And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Chatham-Kent Athletic Complex, Community Athletic Complex behind Chatham-Kent Secondary School on TV Coach Co. Another round of Chatham-Kent Cougars football. Back at it, it is Mike Renier and my good partner here, Michael James, in the broadcast booth. And Mike, it's been a pretty good start to the season for the Chatham-Kent Cougars. You're right at 500, but today is going to be a pretty immense test.
Yeah, they're facing an undefeated Burlington Stampeders squad. They are 4-0. Of course, the Cougars coming in at 2-2. Certainly worth noting, the Cougars undefeated on their home field, but they're really going to have to play their best game of the season today against this Stampeders club that only just last week allowed its first points on defense. Up until last weekend, they had allowed no points in 3 games. Last weekend, they still got a victory with a 24-19 win over Kitchener-Waterloo. Those were the first points that their defense had allowed all season.
So it looks like the Cougars will receive the football to kick off here. Just a beautiful Sunday afternoon at the Chatham-Kent Community Athletic Complex. Beautiful day for football as the Cougars look to get above 500, looking for the 3rd win of the season. And the kick is up, and it is now brought down by Cody St. Pierre. He takes the football and will jostle his way. Now he finds a seam, and he's still on his feet up to around midfield and into Burlington territory. Great run by St. Pierre as he gets up to around the Burlington 51-yard line, it appears, 51 and a half.
That's a nice start for the Cougars, a nice return on special teams. Cody St. Pierre, a nice return, about 45-yard return there. We're certainly worth mentioning as well, there is a bit of a breeze here today. It looks like Burlington had the wind at their back on that kickoff, maybe why the kickoff was so deep, but nice starting field position here for Chatham-Kent on their first possession.
And now your quarterback, Ryan Brook. We'll talk more about the quarterback position in just a moment, but Brook hands off to running back up the middle, and maybe about a 2-yard gain if they're lucky. So 2nd down and long coming up for the Cougars. But Michael, Ryan Brook at quarterback, and Zach Welton no longer with the Cougars.
Yeah, we understand Zach Welton has found himself a full-time job that conflicted with the Cougars schedule. So unfortunately, Zach Welton no longer with the team. Ryan Brook making his first start as a Cougars quarterback.
2nd and a short 9 here for the Cougars. And now another running play around to the left side, trying to get first down yardage and getting it. Great run for the Cougars and Blaine Bayshard.
Blaine Bayshard showing his strength there, getting around the corner, using his block spell. A nice block there on the corner from his wide receiver teammate, Josh Woodman, sealing off that defensive back and using his size and strength to gain the first down.
Good 2nd and 3rd effort there by Bayshard to get the first down yardage.
Yeah, and he carries a load. He's 6 feet, 215, so he's going to be tough to bring down, and he shows he's got some good quickness as well.
The Burlington 41, the Cougars marching down the field with a new set of downs, and now a quick pass off to the right, and a pass is caught, and a nice job there by the receiver, Josh Woodman. Again, another great 2nd effort and getting some good yardage.
I like that play call. Early in this game, get Ryan Brook comfortable, call a nice, easy passing play for him. That's an easy, just a 2-step drop, take the snap, fire it out to your playmaker and Josh Woodman. Let the wide receiver try and make a play. Woodman does make a play there. Nearly broke that one for a big gainer. Still a nice gain, though, 8 yards on first down.
2nd and 2 for the Cougars, and again, a run up the middle looking for first down yardage. It looks like the Cougars will have that with ease. So they're mixing it up pretty well here with the passing and the running plays early on.
Yeah, you've got to like the start so far. Credit to the offensive coordinators for the Chatham-Kent Cougars team coming out prepared. A nice start, getting into a bit of a rhythm here with the run and the pass, mixing it in and having success really with both. So that's going to be a nice confidence builder early on here against this tough Stampeder squad and obviously a tough defense.
Another first down here for the Cougars, and now a little bit of a sneak by the quarterback as he looks to run up the middle, trying to get the Burlington defense off their game, but Ryan Brook does get a little bit of positive yardage, but maybe only a yard or two.
Yeah, almost a bit of a surprise play there. It looked like the ball was going to go to Chris Verrill, but Ryan Brook holds on to the ball and gets about a yard or two on the first down carry. Last weekend, Verrill had a nice game here at home. Had some really, really positive carries. We've only seen them at home twice leading up to this game, but that was certainly the best game that we had seen out of Chris Verrill to this point at home.
Very minimal yardage pickup on that last play, so about 2nd and 10 is back to pass once again. The quarterback, as Brooke is in a lot of danger, and now he's finally brought down for, looks like a loss of 5, so a sack for the Burlington Stampeders, and that's going to bring out the field goal unit.
Well, there was some nice pressure there from Burlington on that far right side. Ryan Brooke looked like he wanted to get rid of that ball really quickly, but he couldn't. The defensive end had some pressure, got his hands up in the air, so Brooke forced to swallow it and look for another opening. By that time, Stampeders were all over him in the backfield. He was forced to swallow it for the sack, and as you mentioned, it looks like the Cougars, not going to go for the field goal now. It looks like they're going to go for some field position and have Ryan Clark punt the ball away.
So good march down the field by the Cougars offense to kick off this football game, but it stalled around the 35-yard line. Now a blocked punt by Burlington, and to come down with it around the 30-yard line. So you mentioned the field position, Mike, and, well, the special teams for Burlington kind of were up to the task there.
Yeah, Clark Green just couldn't get that one off in time. Obviously, the Stampeders getting a lot of pressure there. This was something I'm not sure we mentioned already, but these two teams have faced each other once already. It was 2 weeks ago up in Burlington, and they did have a block punt there as well on the Cougars. So we're seeing that again. So something I'm sure that special teams coach Jeff Green's going to be looking at. Going to need a little more time for his punter to get that kick off.
William Finch, the quarterback for the Burlington Stampeders, and he has got some size, that is for sure. He is a big man. He elects to hand it off, and the Cougars defense up to the task right there. No room to move for the Stamps running back, and I don't think he got any yardage. He might have actually been sent back a yard or two.
Yeah, it looks like that was a loss of about 2 yards. A nice job by the interior of that Cougars defensive line, getting pressure and some penetration right up the middle. That's where the Burlington Stampeders were looking to run that ball, and a nice job by the defense of the Cougars here early on.
2nd down and 12 for Burlington. Good opening play by the Cougars defense, and now a passing play on 2nd and 12, and now a quarterback sneak up the middle, and he gets tripped up after only a gain of about 5 or 6, so a punting chance here for Burlington. Nice job by the Cougars defense bringing down the quarterback, William Finch.
A good tackle there by Josh Schuin, getting his hand out. Bit of a shoestring tackle, but does the job, keeps them short of the first down, and forces the Stampeders for a 2-and-out on offense. So a good job by the Cougars defense on that first series and getting the ball back to their offense, which was rolling there on that first drive.
Still scoreless. Just under 10 minutes to go in this first quarter. Cougars, Stampeders from Burlington here on TV Coach Co. Glad you're with us. Watching wherever you're watching here, and a punt is up, and it will now bounce off a Stampeder player around the Burlington 46-yard line.
So some good field position here for the Cougars to start again on their second offensive possession, nearly into Stampeders territory. And as we mentioned, that first drive from the Cougars establishing themselves with both the run and the pass. So we'll see Ryan Brooke here get his second series as the starting quarterback. Again, Zach Welton, not with the team anymore, got a full-time job and just a bit of a conflicting schedule as we're understanding, so no longer to play for the Cougars. So that elevates Ryan Brooke to the starting quarterback position. And as we've told you before, the Cougars coaching crew had tried to get Brooke into some games heading into today, so he certainly got some experience under his belt.
Cougars take over. Pretty good field position here, 46-yard line of the Burlington Stampeders. Still looking for the game's first points this afternoon. Now a handoff and good run by running back Mitch Raitt as he gets quite a bit of positive yardage, at least 5 it looks like there.
Yeah, Mitch Raitt, a nice carry there for some positive yardage. As you mentioned, Mike, about 5 yards. You'll take that on first down. It's even closer to 6 maybe. So a nice first down gain. And that's a nice change of pace that they've got in the backfield with those 3 running backs with Verrill, Raitt, and Blaine Bayshard. So there's certainly the running game has some weapons for the Cougars offense.
Ryan Brooke again electing to hand it off up the middle and not getting any first down yardage, unfortunately. Chris Verrill getting the running play that time around. They're still about 2, maybe 3 yards short of a first down. Looks like 2 yards short.
Yeah, off guard run there on the left side. Cougars testing that Burlington defense. Maybe heat might play a little bit of a factor today as well. It's a beautiful day out, and maybe that Cougars offense looking to tire out that Stampeders defensive line, which wouldn't be a bad thing at all. Just continue to try to pound the ball on them. One thing that's going to be key, though, if the Cougars want to do that, they're going to have to stop the Stampeders offense, or else they're going to get into a bit of a shootout situation. So it looks like they'll try to punt again here. Clark Green, as we mentioned, had that first punt blocked. Try to get him a little more protection this time.
Green has it. And no, actually, it was a fake punt this time around as they go off to the far side. And I believe they have first down yardage. So that was a little tricky play there, and it seemed to work for the Cougars.
A nice job there. Good call there from the special teams coach, Jeff Green, going with the fake. It's not a bad spot to do it. You've got decent field position. They do a direct snap there to Blaine Bayshard. He takes around the left side, and Bayshard, with that size and athletic ability, able to fight for some tough yards and get the first down. So a fresh series here on offense for the Cougars.
Able to find a seam, and good break there for the Cougars. 1st and 10 to the 34-yard line of Burlington. And once again, a running play up the middle, and a nice seam here for Wright as he goes right up the middle. And it looks like he's got another first down for the Cougars on 1st and 10. He runs, and he finds a lot of room, and good place here, the offense for the Cougars early on.
Yeah, they run a counter on that one, and they send Mitch Wright out to that right side. A nice big gaping hole there, cuts it right back up the middle, and a carry of about 14 yards. So the Cougars, they found something that's working for them. The interior of that offensive line, they're making some nice holes.
So now into Burlington territory, another running play. This one maybe getting a yard as the Cougars take the ball off to the right-hand side, and a lot more ready for that one. Defense from Burlington.
Yeah, Burlington, good job there by number 48, Lucas Brenton, reading that play well, sniffing it out, not being fooled by the misdirection, and coming up to make the tackle, keeping that to a minimal gain of about 2 yards. So the Cougars here faced with a 2nd and long, if you will. We'll see what kind of a decision they'll go with here, if they want to put the ball into Ryan Brooks' hands and allow him to go for the pass, or maybe play it a little bit conservatively and set themselves up for a field goal.
Well inside the 20, 2nd down, going towards the end zone. That pass was well out of the reach of the receiver for the Cougars as they were going for broke into the end zone. But it didn't work out. 3rd down coming up, and most likely this will be a field goal attempt.
Yeah, they were looking for a bit of a mismatch there, trying to use the athleticism and speed of Josh Woodman. Unfortunately, that ball just thrown a little far by Ryan Brook, a little bit over the head, out of the hands and of Josh Woodman. Just couldn't get his hands on it. I know he was looking for maybe a bit of a pass interference call there, but it looked like that ball might have even been uncatchable, a little too high. And so the Cougars going to be forced, as you mentioned, to kick the field goal here. But a nice second offensive possession for the Cougars, moving the ball on that Stampeders defense.
So on 3rd down, they will try and get the game's first points here this afternoon. Green back to kick this field goal attempt. And the snap. Kick is up. And it is good.
We do have a flag on the play. Came in from the far side. Might have to try this one again.
See what the call is. Our first flag this time around. I know my last broadcast a 3 weeks ago, there was tons of flags on the field.
Yeah, last weekend's game, much quicker, a much nicer pace to it, a lot less flags.
This one might be going against Burlington.
Yeah, it looks like it is a call against Burlington. Looks like the Cougars going to bring their offense back onto the field. It's an automatic first down.
What a break this is for Chatham-Kent. First down, the call for the Cougars.
Too many men on the field, it looks like, for Burlington.
Wow. So a big mistake there for the Stampeders. That will benefit the Cougars greatly, as now they are even closer to the end zone and a fresh set of downs at the 12.
Yeah, 1st and goal here for the Cougars. As we'd mentioned, it wasn't until last weekend that Burlington allowed any points on defense. Now they're in danger of allowing a touchdown.
See if they can make this chance count. Here's Raid going towards the end zone. He doesn't quite get there, but he gets a few yards on first down, and Mitch Raid finding a little bit of a seam there.
Yeah, nice job by that interior offensive line. Again, doing a great job creating some holes for those running backs, and they're just running up the middle full head of steam. And all they have to do is make one man miss, and they're gone. So a nice job so far here from this offense of the Cougars. Come in with a nice game plan, and so far it's showing a lot of success.
Let's see if they go for a run here. It's 2nd down and 3. Close to the goal line here. Brook once again gets the ball. He elects to try and pass it. Maybe he's going to take it in himself. Heading towards the end zone. Did he make it? No signal yet. I don't think he made it into the end zone. Yeah, he's probably about 1.5 yards, 2 yards short.
Just short there. I like the call. Some misdirection there. You fake the handoff to go up the middle, and you get Ryan Brook rolling out. Even still, he had an option to throw that ball if he didn't want to keep it. You get him out of the pocket. If he sees an opening, he can run it in himself. If he doesn't, he can try and throw for the touchdown, but not enough room there. A nice job of the Stampeders defense stretching that play out. And we'll see here. It looks like the Cougars are going to go for the touchdown.
3rd and goal from the 2. See what they elect to do here. Very, very deep into Burlington territory. Once again, a handoff. It is Raitt who has it, and he goes in for the touchdown. Cougars strike first this afternoon.
I like that play call. They fake the handoff to Chris Verrill. We're going to that right side, and then they give it back to Raitt coming across the center. He leaps in for the score, and 6-0 here for the Cougars, looking to make it 7. That's a great job by that offensive line. Kudos to them. Phenomenal job of the Cougars mixing it up with the run and the pass, but mainly the run, getting them those tough yards and really imposing their will on that Stampeders defense.
Really big on the gambles so far in this first quarter. They're kind of living life on the edge a little bit, but it seems to be working. Everything's going their way.
Yeah, that fake punt really pays off. They get that short yardage first down, and it pays off for a touchdown.
Going for the extra point to make it 7-0. And that's where we are here in this first quarter. Just over 4.5 minutes to go in the opening frame at the Chatham-Kent Community Athletic Complex as the Cougars look to go above 500. And they have had a very good start on both sides of the football against a very good football club from Burlington.
Yeah, as we'd mentioned, Stampeders, they had only allowed 19 points on defense coming into this game, and that was all coming last weekend against Kitchener-Waterloo. That was the first time they had allowed any points in their first 4 games of the season. So, of course, this is their 5th game, and they now trail 7-0. The Cougars showing so far this season they're tough at home, and to start this game, they've continued that trend.
Missing the postseason last year, but not by a whole bunch, so they just wanted to break through that threshold this year. It looks like they're certainly poised to at least make a very good run at it.
Yeah, the Cougars coming into this game with a 2-2 record, and obviously showing they've got a good football team. They've certainly got some weapons, and their defense has been pretty good so far this year. They've certainly got some strengths to their game. It's just a matter of really putting it all together at one time.
Now kicking it off, Chatham-Kent Cougars, and the ball will come down around the 25. A little bit of a bobble there by Burlington, but now they pick it up and run with it, and they will get to past the 35-yard line, about the 37. So that's where Burlington will start this possession down 7-0 here with Chatham-Kent Cougars football on TV. Coach Go, and we want to thank a bunch of people here, Michael.
Yeah, we certainly do. Obviously, the sponsors, a huge help to the Cougars squad. We've got Munchies, of course, helping out the Cougars with some sponsoring. Blair's Boot Camp as well, fitness and training, of course.
Yep, TechNet Auto Service. We thank those folks very much for really sponsoring a great football program, top to bottom. 1st and 10 here for Burlington as they trail the Cougars 7-0. Now back to pass, scrambling off to his right, not finding somebody open just yet, but still now finding a receiver open and a completion. This will take the football to midfield, and a first down for Burlington as William Finch really kind of hung in there.
That was a nice grab there. It looked like it was Bennett McGarry with the grab, snags that one out of the air, and really obviously William Finch showing that he's got some athleticism, able to roll out of the pocket to his right. Of course, he's a right-hand thrower, so that helps him rolling to the right, doesn't have to throw across his body. And now it looks like we've got an added penalty being assessed here to the Cougars. We understand an unnecessary roughness, roughing the passer call going against the Cougars, so they'll tack on that yardage at the end of that play.
And that is absolutely huge because now the football is at around the 43-yard line of the Cougars. So moving up in a big way is Burlington, and now right off the hop, A sack by the Cougars is going down to William Finch, and he gets a loss of about 3 or thereabouts on that play.
That's Graham Smith coming right through the middle on the blitz. The DB gets through the middle. That defensive line not able to account for Smith coming through. He comes through free, and that's an easy sack. A nice play there. As you mentioned, too, William Finch, certainly not small at all, 6'3", 218, so he's a load, but Smith able to bring him down.
Pardon me, that was actually a lot bigger loss than I thought. It was 8-yard loss. The 2nd and 18 is a short passing play up the middle. It is completed, and still well short of the first down, so that sack on first down before proving costly for Burlington. And a 3rd down situation coming up here now for the Stampeders as they look to get on the board. Cougars up 7-0.
Tristan Robinette forcing the ball carrier out of bounds there. Wes Livermore on that far side. So a nice job not allowing that receiver to get the first down. Graham Smith also in pursuit. So a good job from the Cougars defense right there. Stampeders, they've got the wind to their back, it looks like, taking a look at the flags right now. So it's looks like they're going to punt this one, though, and go for the field position. Of course, a couple of dangerous returners back there for the Cougars, Josh Wright and Smith to return.
And the kick is up close to the end zone. It is brought down by the Cougars, now trying to find an opening. Flag is now down on the play, and now some open room to move for the Cougars. Number 28, Josh Wright, finally brought down close to the 40-yard line. Again, there is a marker on the play. We'll see how this turns out, but again, nice play on special teams, returning that one for the Chatham-Kent Cougars and Josh Wright.
As I mentioned, a couple of dangerous returners back there, Josh Wright and Graham Smith. You know, it's tough when you're a punter when you've got those two guys back there to look at as returners. Both of them have returns for a touchdown. Josh Wright had a punt return for a touchdown last weekend in the Cougars' victory here at home. So again, Josh Wright showing he is dangerous. If you don't want to kick it to Graham Smith, you got to be wary. He can take one back to the house as well. Now, typically on these types of flags on a return, you're going to see an illegal block in the back, and it looks like they're marching this one back against the Cougars.
With under 3 minutes to go in this first quarter, Cougars already up 7-0, but again, the flags are starting to increase here towards the end of the quarter. And that one, as you mentioned, Michael, is going against the Cougars, and that's a fairly sizable penalty all the way back. See where this ball is going to finally rest.
Looks close to about the, yeah, you're right there, the 5-yard line, Mike. So this is a tough penalty for the Cougars to swallow. Originally looked like they were going to have the ball about the 35. Now they're at their own 5, and obviously the Stampeders defense going to be pinning their ears back.
And now right off of the handoff, a big hit on the running back. Cougars not getting a lot of yardage on that one. So it's going to be 2nd and probably close to 10 coming up as the defense from Burlington saw that one coming the entire way.
Yeah, that was Mitchell Wright with the carry. He's met right in the backfield just as he gets the handoff. A good job, actually, by Mitchell Wright falling forward, fighting for a couple tough yards, and no gain on that one, but easily could have lost a couple. And it's a tough position when you're just in the shadows of your own goal line. You don't really want to turn the ball over here.
2nd and 10, deep in their own territory. Is a pass play along the right side, and a couple of Cougars looking for a flag there. Intended for Josh Woodman. He was held up, doesn't quite get the reception, so 3rd and 10 coming up, and the Cougars will have to punt this one away.
Jack Gatza with some decent coverage there. Woodman not able to get to that ball. A little bit inside, I think. I think Ryan Brook may be looking to throw that ball a little more outside to help his receiver. That's a tough play for Josh Woodman to try to cut across the middle of that defensive back, cut across his face to make that catch. Again, a good job by Gatza using his body, getting in the way, and not allowing a completed pass. So likely here we'll see the Cougars swallow a point.
And that's exactly what's happening as a knee is taken in the end zone with 1:53 to go in this opening quarter, 7-1. Cougars still with a very promising first quarter against the Burlington Stampeders here on a lovely Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, so really it turns out that penalty certainly hurt the Cougars. It cost them a point, and they're going to have to kick the ball away now, obviously, to the Stampeders. So, you know, it is only 1 point, but you never know how much that point's going to mean at the end of the game.
Glad to have you aboard here as our coverage of Chatham-Kent Cougars football continues through the 2011 season here at the Chatham-Kent Community Athletic Complex. Mike Renier, Mike James, as the Cougars certainly have had a very good opening quarter against Burlington, who have really come in with a lot of head of steam this year.
Yeah, undefeated 4-0. A lot of people saying they're the best team in all of Ontario. So that tells you something when a lot of people are saying the same thing about this Stampeders squad. But Cougars tough at home, and so far continue to show that.
This is, if nothing else, a very good measuring stick for the Cougars. And they're passing with flying colors so far. As the ball kicked away, comes down around the 30-yard line of Burlington. Now the return team will get it up to close to the 45. And bringing that one was Miles Filkin, it looks like.
Nice tackle there from Hilton Clooney of the Cougars. Getting his helmet right on those numbers on the front of the jersey. Beautiful tackle.
44-yard line is where Burlington will start off.
So decent starting field position here for the Stampeders, but so far the Cougars defense has really shone.
1st and 10 as the offense still tries to get on the same page here for the Stampeders. Now they're ready to go. And a handoff goes past the 45-yard line. Running play getting up to around the 47. So it looks like a 2nd and 7 coming up here for Burlington.
And linebacker Josh Schuin in on that tackle, but a little shaken up. He's going off to the sidelines. He's now going to take a knee, and he's down. Trainer Adrian Day looking at him.
He is in some considerable pain, as he was only able to walk about 25-30 feet before getting down to the ground. So this is fairly significant, it looks like.
Yeah, he was tag teaming in on that tackle on the running back, and not sure if maybe he got his arm caught in there awkwardly, or if it's just a bit of a stinger. But Josh Schuin, so far this season, when we've seen him at home, you can count on him for at least one good stick. Actually, I would say at least 2 good sticks every game that we've seen him, including last weekend's victory. Schuin, a heavy hitter there in that linebacking core for the Cougars, and certainly they'd miss him if he's not able to come back into this game.
Not moving a whole lot on the ground. Now he's going to get helped off by about 3 different people. So now actually he's going to be walking off under his own power. So that is good news, but he still looks to be quite shaken up.
Yeah, it looks like it was that right arm or that right shoulder. So again, we'll see if it's just a bit of a stinger that he's got, or if it's something a little more serious. I know the Cougars coaching staff hoping he can come back into this game. They'd certainly miss him.
He's going to be tended to on the sidelines for sure, but hopefully it's nothing terribly serious and we can see him back in this game somewhere along the line. 2nd down and 7 here for Burlington as they are close to midfield, and now a passing play gets snuffed out. And now getting into his own man was William Finch. He's still on his feet looking for somebody open downfield. Finch does throw it, and it's intercepted by the Cougars, and now it is dropped by Josh Woodman as he had an interception given to him, and now he's showing some frustration, slamming his helmet, but Woodman had an INT. He just dropped it, but it is 3rd down now for Burlington.
And that's a catch you expect Josh Woodman to make, but at the same time, as a defensive back, you see that ball come right into your hands, and you're thinking to yourself, is this ball really being thrown to me? And you get a little excited. You're thinking to yourself,
can I score 7?
Is this right?
Yeah.
This isn't right. This ball's being thrown directly to me. But, yeah, sometimes you get a little worked up before that ball gets there. But nonetheless, the Cougars look to be getting this ball back.
And almost leading you to believe that was a fake punt, but it is punted away to the Cougars as they receive it close to their 30 and now brought back a fair way. It's Josh Wright, and now the Cougars will get control of the football, but a little further back than they would have liked.
Yeah, nice coverage there on special teams. Stuart Maxwell making the tackle on Josh Wright, and it looks like the Stampeders realizing right there, showing some respect to the return men of the Cougars, looking to directionally kick that ball. I imagine they were trying to probably kick that out of bounds over on that far sideline, or at least pin Josh Wright in, and they do a good job on the coverage, and it works to their advantage. They get some decent field position for their defense to put some pressure on that Cougars offense.
From their own 19-yard line, the Cougars taking over, up 7-0, and now a handoff off to the left-hand side, and maybe a yard. picked up by the Cougars. Looks like Chris Verrill had that carry. Didn't get a whole lot of yardage.
Now we got a man down for the Stampeders. A little bit shaken up. Looks to be one of their linebackers.
Colin Dunn, I believe, Michael.
Yeah, number 56, you're right. Defensive lineman, 5'6", 235. So the training staff will come out to take a look at him. And this is a good time, again, to thank some of the sponsors for the Chatham-Kent Cougars organization. State Farm, very much appreciated, as well as Royal LePage. So thank you very much from the Chatham-Kent Cougars organization for your support in the community.
Cougars 7. And the injured Stampeders still getting looked at.
Now, taking a look at the Cougars' game plan so far, they've been heavy on the run, only a couple of passes, but you had to figure that was likely going to be the way they were going to go coming into this game with Zach Welton not here, their starting quarterback, and having to turn to Ryan Brook. Obviously, you want Ryan Brook to feel comfortable back there. It's a tough situation for him to come into as the starting quarterback against the best team in Ontario. So you're going to go heavy on the run, which they've done well so far, but you have to figure at some point the Burlington Stampeders are going to load up the box and try to put the game into Ryan Brook's hands in his first start for the Cougars.
Back to play here. 2nd down and 8 to go, deep in their own territory. Cougars looking to get a very key first down here. And Brook on the final play of the first quarter hands it off. Mitch Raitt looking to get some first down yardage. I don't believe he gets there. I think he's at least 3 yards shy, 2 or 3 yards shy. And so a 3rd down is coming up to begin the second quarter.
Well, the good news for the Cougars is, yeah, they come up short on the first down, but they're going to switch ends. So the Cougars are going to punt this ball away with the wind at their back, it looks like. It's a bit of a swirling wind, but right now looks like the wind's going to be at their back for this punt. So obviously that's going to help their punter, Clark Green, get a little more distance and try and pin the Stampeders back.
7-2, the Cougars have the lead on the Burlington Stampeders. Again, a 2-2 start for the Cougars coming into this one here. We want to thank some more sponsors here, including Mr. Landscape, Richard Bugros, Mama Razzi Photography, and also the Carman, too, in Chatham. So thanks again to all the sponsors that make the Cougars really who they are. Back to punt the other way. Kicking it away, the Cougars will now get the ball to midfield, and now a little bit of a drop by the Stampeders and brought down at their own 45-yard line. So good job there by special teams for the Cougars. And a bit of a bobble there by the Stamps off that kick.
And that helped the Cougars on that coverage. A good job by the gunner on the outside, Curtis LeBute, beating his man, getting there to make the tackle just as the return man was picking that ball up after the bobble. So a good job by the Cougar special teams. No yards allowed on that return. And that's certainly key because the Stampeders still with decent position here to start this offensive possession.
From the 46 of Burlington, they take over with the football. Now back to pass and looking downfield, and it was caught. What a reception there by number 23, Doug Corby, along the far side. He brings it down, and a nice pass by quarterback William Finch, and that was a very pretty play.
Beautiful play. They send 4 wideouts on the right side, and then they try to get that single coverage on that far side, which they did. Josh Woodman back there. Of course, Woodman, a receiver, so he's used to that battle for the ball at its highest point. That time coming out on the losing end, and a tremendous catch by the Stampeders wide receiver and a first down.
Up to the 26-yard line of the Cougars. A fresh set of downs, now a running play, and another successful running play, finding his seam, heading towards the end zone. Not quite getting there, but still a very, very good run by the Stampeders, and now their offense really looks like it's clicking to begin the second quarter.
Yeah, it really does. That big play, I think, taking the wind out of the sails a little bit out of the Cougars' defense, and then mixing it up nicely. First, the big play on the passing game, then they run that inside hitter, and a lot of yardage there. And obviously the Cougars going to have to respect both the run and the pass of the Stampeder squad.
First and goal, the 8-yard line of the Cougars as they're knocking on the door, looking to maybe even get the lead here. Now a pass play up the middle, or pardon me, a running play up the middle, I should say, and Aaron Veltri getting the football.
The defensive back, Chris Labute, doing a good job getting into the backfield, slowing that running play down until he can get some help up the middle and making that tackle for a short gain. So this will be a big stand here for the Cougars if they can keep this to a field goal after the big play there from the Stampeders.
3-yard run for Veltri, second and goal from the 5. The offense spreading out here for Burlington. And now off the snap, it is fumbled, and hopping on it is the quarterback, William Finch, but the Cougars are there to bring him to the turf. And a significant loss will bring up 3rd and goal, so that was absolutely huge.
Yeah, costly there. Bobble for the center quarterback exchange. Looks like they're going to have to settle for the field goal here. But that was certainly huge. David Miller, the linebacker, getting in on the tackle after that bobbled snap. So the Cougars taking advantage of a bit of a miscue there by the Stampeders, forcing them to attempt a short little chip shot field goal.
Setting it back to the 10-yard line, so a 5-yard loss on that last play. And here's an attempt for 3. It's a very high snap, but it's brought down, and it is kicked through the uprights. So still the Cougars maintain the lead, but it's down to 2. It's a 7-5 football game. But what could have been a little less favorable for Chatham-Kent.
Yeah, certainly. The Cougars there, the defense, taking advantage of a bit of a miscue, and certainly you've got to do that when the opportunity is there. You don't want to see a team have a miscue and still make something happen, and that's exactly what happened there. David Miller able to make the tackle on William Finch when he bobbled that snap, and that is absolutely huge. Again, that's 3 points that you allow instead of 6, possibly 7.
12:37 remaining in this second quarter. Mike Renier, Mike James, Jeff Brooks on the camera here for TV Coach Co. Glad you were able to tune in to see some Chatham-Kent Cougar football. A 2-2 record coming into this football game for the Cougars. And as we mentioned, this is a very good test for the club against a very good Burlington Stampeders squad. And again, we want to thank our sponsors this time around this season, the Zavitz Chiropractic and Spinal Decompression Center. Visit zavitzchiro.ca, Wellington Street West in Chatham.
Might see some business after this game.
Probably. It's been rather physical this afternoon. We're not even a half into it. Now a bouncing football finally picked up by the Cougars, and now some room to run up towards midfield. Nice job there by the Cougars, getting up to around the 43-yard line. And some size helping out there.
Yeah, nice return there for the Cougars, and this is some good starting field position. That kick a little bit short. Obviously, as we've mentioned, there is a bit of a breeze out here, and that playing a factor. We saw the Cougars kickoffs were a little bit short as well. Now it's the Stampeders' turn, obviously, with the Cougars having the wind at their back. This might play a factor as well. The Cougars maybe will look to open up the passing game a little bit more with the wind at their back here. The ball won't hang up in the air as much.
From the 44, the Cougars take over. Ryan Brook gets the snap. He hands it off to Raitt, who looks to break the 45-yard line, and I'm not so sure that he did that. As the Stampeders defense able to swarm in on him.
Yeah, it didn't look like there was a lot of room on that far right side, so the Cougars here stuck with a 2nd and long. Looks like they're going to call it a gain of about a yard and a half at the most. And the Cougars, they're going to have to put the ball in the air because you don't want to become too predictable and allow that Stampeders defense to dictate what you do.
2nd and 9, another pitch off to the right-hand side and a running play. And getting 5, maybe 6 yards on the run was Blaine Bayshard, but not nearly enough for the first down. 3rd and about 3 coming up.
So you'd think that the
Actually,
Cougars...
more than 3, probably about 3rd and 5.
Yeah, about 3rd and 5, you're right, Mike. So the Cougars going to trot out their special teams here. As we mentioned, the Cougars now have the wind at their back, so that's a nice luxury to have. You can try and pin the Stampeders deep here in their own zone and play the field position game. But as I was saying, the Cougars, I'm sure the one thing they don't want to do is become too predictable on offense. The running game was working fairly well the first quarter. Here later on, though, early in the second quarter, the run not working quite as well. The Stampeders defense making some adjustments, so you're going to want to they'll probably be looking to put the ball up in the air just so they're not too predictable.
Bit of a stumble off the snap, but the punt is away. And it comes down near the 30-yard line of Burlington, and now not finding a lot of room to run. Now he finally finds a seam on the near side, getting up to the 40-yard line, still on his feet. 45, he's now up to midfield, still on his feet, trying to get around, and he's still going. What a run this is along the far side. Special teams, it is absolutely huge. And a good job by Wes Livermore. He gets all the way to the 30, but there is a couple of flags that were flying along the far side. We'll see what this is about.
I think this is going to go against the Cougars at the end of that run. Curtis Abute making the tackle, but it looked like he pulled the horse collar, grabbing the back of the jersey of the return man, Wes Livermore, who unbelievable return by Livermore. Really should have been tackled fairly deep in his own end, but using his speed and elusiveness to get down the field. But it looked like it was a horse collar from the Cougars defender, the Butte, getting his hand again. You can't tackle the runner at the back of the jersey of the return man. Now we've got a flag way back here where the return had started, and this could be an illegal block in the back. Wow, this is huge. They are marching this one back.
So not against the Cougars, but rather it's against Burlington.
Now there was a flag that came in late at the end of that return, so I would have imagined that was against the Cougars, but maybe they're picking that one up. We'll have to listen for the explanation here from the referees.
But they're coming all the way back here, 10:38 to go in this second quarter. A 2-point lead for the Cougars, 7-5. They lead the Stampeders. And a very stunning punt return, negated. That would have been absolutely huge for Burlington, but it comes all the way back. Somewhere outside the 20-yard line.
Wow, that is absolutely huge.
23, it looks like that's where the ball will be spotted here.
So the Cougars benefiting from that call. And my math isn't the best, but that penalty is
Probably,
about a
70-yard.
Yeah.
In that area anyway, a 70-yard costly mistake there for Burlington.
And certainly the Cougars will take it.
So this changes the dynamic of this possession quite a bit here for the Stampeders. It's got to be somewhat deflating too.
You would think so. We'll see how the Stampeders respond.
Now a run play up the middle right off the hop, and this is a big gain here right up the middle and close to midfield, brought down to the 51. What a run there by Aaron Veltri. He's had a couple of impressive runs here this afternoon. Veltri gets close to midfield. They're going to mark this one down at the 50-yard line of the Stamps.
It's funny, you look at Aaron Veltri's numbers, 5'9", 165, but when he runs, he looks like he carries the load, gets his pads down nice and low, compact, tough to bring down, and showed that there with a nice carry and gain for the Stampeders on first down and some big first down yardage. And the Stampeders have shown they've been able to run the ball. They've had some big plays on the ground.
Now another running play, and again it's Veltri who gets the call up the middle, and he will get past midfield. About 3 yards shy of the first down, close to the 52-yard line, now into Cougar territory.
Veltri turning into a bit of a horse here in the second quarter for the Stampeders, carrying their offense a bit. A nice carry on first down again. That makes it tough on the defense to try and pin their ears back and get some pressure on the quarterback for the Stampeders if they're not going to have to throw the ball.
And now they're going to get close to first down yardage here as that run will get it to around the 48-yard line. And it is a first down. So a fresh set of downs here for Burlington as they continue to march down the field, and that'll take the sting out of that huge penalty.
It looks like we've got a Cougar down here. Looks like that is tough to get a number there, but it looks like that might be Graham Smith. Defensive back and, of course, return man for the Cougars. Always dangerous when he gets the ball in his hands.
As the training staff continues to look at him down on one knee, now he's getting up and looks to be relatively okay.
And I was wrong. It's not 25, but it's 29, David Miller. So David Miller leaving the field.
First down and 10, 48-yard line is where the football is into Cougar territory. Under 9 minutes to go in this second quarter. Very early touchdown for the Cougars, made it 7-0, but Burlington chipping away here, and an important possession as the quarterback gets out of some trouble and tried to find an open man along the left-hand side, but that one falls incomplete. So a second down and 10 coming up here with 8:45 to go in the first half.
25, Graham Smith, some nice coverage there for the Cougars. The one thing you notice with that quarterback for the Stampeders, William Finch, he's got the ability to tuck that ball and run. He moves well in the pocket. You get some pressure on him, which the Cougars have done on occasion here, and he just finds a way to kind of take that 1 or 2 steps in the pocket, find an opening, and look downfield for the open receiver. So he is dangerous, something I'm sure the Cougars are watching to see, too. If he wants to, it looks like he could tuck and run it.
Finch back to pass again, and now almost intercepted, but again, in and out of the hands of Dylan White. And that's the second time that we've pretty much seen an INT gimme, but just kind of in and out of the hands of the Cougars.
Again, Dylan White just must be shocked that ball's being thrown directly to him. It looked like he was the intended receiver on that play, but nice coverage from Dylan White. Unfortunately, can't hold on to it, but forces the Stampeders to a third down and punt this ball away. So a nice job from the Cougars defense after a first couple of early runs on big gains for the Stampeders. Are forced to punt this one away.
Another punt coming the Cougars' way, and this one is up and will get retrieved around the 25-yard line. And that's pretty much where the Cougars will start this drive. Fairly deep in their own territory, 8:08 to go in the first half of the Chatham-Kent Community Athletic Complex. Cougars like to get something going here and get more than a 2-point lead that they enjoy now.
Yeah, they certainly would. Mike, the last couple possessions for the Cougars on offense, they've stalled a little bit after some early success, as we mentioned, on the ground, jumping out to that lead. The Stampeders defense made some adjustments, slowing down that ground game of the Cougars. Again, they're going to have the wind at their back. You'd expect, I would think, that they're going to put the hand in Ryan Brook and let him throw the ball a little bit here just to keep that Stampeders defense off guard.
Now a running play for Rates for the Cougars on 1st and 10. He brings it along the right-hand side, still on his feet. And from this vantage point, can't exactly see where he was taken down. Somewhere past the 30-yard line, it looks like, maybe 31.
It looks to be a nice gain on first down there.
But the 31 is where they're putting the football down.
Okay,
so about 2nd and 5.
Yeah, not quite as far as I thought, but still a decent gain on first down. Bit of a manageable situation here on 2nd down and 5. You can run or pass.
And they will elect to go with the run, kind of a fake passing play. And maybe a couple of yards on that latest run.
So the Cougars still staying a little bit conservative here with 2 running plays consecutively. Not sure if we had a flag on that play. It looks like the referees... Oh, no, they're going to measure this one. The referee's talking there for a moment. It looks like this one's going to be short, though. Taking a look at where the markers were earlier, it looks like they're probably going to be about a foot or 2 short.
I was going to say probably close to a yard shy. I don't think they got this one. Bringing the chains out.
Well, we've already seen the Cougars gamble here today, and it looks like they're going to be short by about, I don't know, 1.5 feet about it looks like. Maybe a foot.
But clearly it is third down coming up here.
So this is a big decision here for the Cougars, and it looks like they're going to go for it. Now, the offensive and defensive lines, they have to be a yard apart from each other, so this should be a conversion here.
And now a running play. They try to get the necessary yardage up the middle. Looks like they do.
As you said, Mike, that is a first down for the Cougars. So a good job there, getting a push up the middle. And it's never a guarantee, of course, short yardage, but really when you have to line up that far off the ball on offense and defense, it makes it a little bit easier to convert those short yardage plays.
So good job. Again, another gamble for the Cougars and another one that pans out for them. 1st and 10 in the second quarter. Back to pass is Brook again, and now he gets taken to the ground, and it's now a fumble picked up by the Stampeders and brought back to the house for a touchdown. Not only was it a sack, but the ball came loose from Ryan Brook's hands, and right on it were the Stampeders. It is picked up and brought back for 6.
Ryan Brook there was down for a little while too. He just popped back up, but just a lot of pressure in his face. I think he wanted to get rid of that ball before the pressure got there, but held on to it. It looked like a little too long. Obviously got the pressure there, and then when he was dragged down to the ground, lost the ball. It was hard to see. Almost looked like that fumble might have been caused by the ground, but the referees say no, it was coming loose before he hit the ground. And then a nice job by the defense of the Stampeders to play right through until they hear a whistle. They scoop that up and run it back for the major.
So Burlington takes their first lead of the afternoon. 11-7 is the score now, and they will try and add some more here with the extra point.
That's a tough pill to swallow there for the Cougars offense. They've done a good job protecting the ball in this first half so far, limiting their turnovers.
It looks like they're going for 2 here, and now a pass is caught, but it's short of the end zone, and now it looks like a late hit is going to get a flag here. So they might be doing this 2-pointer again.
That's Jeremiah Hamilton with the late hit. The flag's coming in. The whistle had already blown after the receiver fell down to the ground. And it was clearly a second or two late, and Hamilton laid the hit.
So a lack of discipline there, maybe a lack of focus. So will they do this again? Looks like they will.
Well, this will be assessed on the kickoff because it was a 2-point conversion.
So they did not make the conversion, and a big flag there against the Cougars. So it remains 11-7.
Well, still within a score, but the Cougars going to have to look to get something going on offense. They've stalled a little bit here in the second half after a nice first half, running the ball successfully. And we'll see who comes out at quarterback. As I mentioned, after the turnover, after Ryan Brook was sacked, he was laying on the ground until about a second or two after the Stampeders had finally returned that fumble for a touchdown. And then he seemed to pop up like there was nothing wrong. The trainer had gone out to tend to Ryan Brook. And then, again, he just popped up off the ground, almost like there was a spring under his back. But we'll see if Ryan Brook comes out here for this next offensive series or if they go to their third string, Kyle Ross.
So the Cougars now trailing for the first time this afternoon, and now a little bit of a squab kick here. Did it work for Burlington?
That was a short kick, and I'm going to say, taking a look at that one, it didn't look like the ball had gone 10 yards by the time the by the time the receiver picked it up, although unless that was the kicker, which it might well have been.
The ball is at the 33-yard line.
Although it appeared the ball hadn't gone 10 yards before it was scooped up. It looked like it was short of the 10 yards required before you can scoop up the ball.
Well, regardless, it is Burlington football off of that kick. And now a pass completion along the far side. And that one was, again, Bennett McGarry, who's had a couple, maybe 3 receptions, and one of their big receivers.
Yeah, nice game so far for that number 11, the wide receiver, 5'9", 165. So he's not big, but he has shown he's got some quickness and good hands. Earlier, a nice grab that he made along the sideline, snagging a ball out of the air. So clearly one of the key offensive cogs for the Burlington squad.
1st and 10, 33-yard line is where the football is now in Cougar territory. 11 unanswered points here for the Stamps. And looking for more. Now back to pass once again. William Finch, he eludes one tackle, still on his feet. Finch has it. He has another Cougar get out of his way. And another first down as Finch, an impressive run deep into Cougar territory as he evades a couple of tackles for the Cougars.
Maybe a touchdown saving tackle there from number 12, Curtis LeBute. We've called his name a few times today. That one, another shoestring tackle. And William Finch, again, he's shown he's a good passer, also an effective runner. And again, he carries a load, 6'3", 218. So when he gets outside that pocket, he can break a tackle or two, and he's a load to bring down when he's out in the open field.
1st and goal, it appears, from the 10-yard line, and now a fake handoff. Here's Finch around the left-hand side. He elects to keep it himself, heading towards the end zone, and a flag is up. A touchdown is signaled, but a flag is up.
It'd be interesting to see here if they... hard to tell from this angle from where we are if he was well into the end zone once he was hit or if there's a hold on the play.
It appears this one is coming back. And they're bringing the football back to the 20.
Yeah, and there it is. It is a hold against the Stampeders. So the Cougars there, the beneficiaries of a call against Burlington. And it'll be big here for this Cougars defense if they can hold Burlington to maybe just a field goal or a single after clearly getting into the end zone there.
So now 1st and goal from the 20-yard line after that big holding penalty. Now Finch back to pass once again, and a one-handed reception. What a catch that was along the sideline. Number 14, Josh Vanderweerd. That was quite something to see.
Wow, say they've clearly got some weapons on offense that can catch the football. Vanderweerd just snags that one-handed. It was too far outside his body for him to get both hands on that one. Just puts the one hand out, makes it look easy.
Didn't get a lot of gain there, just a 3-yard gain, but still a very impressive catch by Vanderweerd for Burlington. But still, this sets up a 2nd and 17, 2nd and goal from the 17.
Timeout for Burlington.
3:51 left in the clock here in the first half. 11-7, Burlington with the lead. And again, we want to thank our sponsors for this season, including I Love Juicy Smoothie and Juice Bar. Find them at King Street West, 100 King West in the downtown Chatham Center. And also at EnviroClean Car and Dog Wash, 2 locations to serve you, Grand Avenue East and Park Avenue East in Chatham, are great sponsors for the 2011 season. And D. Merkus.
Taking care of us.
Taking care of us. Burgers, pop, chips, ice cream. We're going to eat ice cream first, I think, today.
Yes,
dessert. Work backwards.
Dessert before, well, on a day like this, for sure. That gutsy call by the Stampeders paying off right now after they get the score. They kick that onside kick, that squib kick, and they're still driving.
Again, 2nd and goal from the 17, scrambling to his left, trying to find somebody open. Now still on his feet. Quarterback trying to find somebody open, and now going off to the right-hand side. That is incomplete, as it was just off the fingertips of Stuart Maxwell, but William Finch scrambling all over the field there, just trying to find somebody to catch that football.
Good job by the Cougars defense, forcing Finch to scramble around. But I wouldn't be surprised at the end of this game that defensive line for the Cougars is gassed, because they are chasing William Finch all over the place. And he is such a weapon. When you've got a weapon like that at quarterback, he's always got the ball in his hands. If he's dropping back to pass, he doesn't see anything downfield. He can just tuck and run. He keeps plays alive, stretches the plays, and but a good job by the Cougars there on defense, forcing the field goal attempt.
Here is the attempt. It is up and blocked by the Cougars, and they fall on it around the 20, so a blocked field goal by Chatham-Kent. And that is big, holding the Burlington Stampeders off the score sheet this time around, keeping it a 4-point game.
You're right, Mike. That was huge. It looked like it was Lee Purnell, number 89 for the Cougars, getting in there, blocking that field goal attempt. So no score there. Now we do have a flag on the field, and it was against Burlington. So the Cougars will decline that, of course, getting that block. And now they'll get the ball back on offense. Now we'll take a look to see who's coming out at quarterback for the Cougars. Because as I mentioned, Ryan Brook was down on the field after that sack fumble. And it is the 3rd stringer now, who is now the 2nd stringer, Kyle Ross, number 7, coming in at quarterback.
So we'll see what Kyle Ross can do here. Again, the Cougars love some momentum heading into halftime.
Certainly would. Now 3:12 and counting here to go in the 2nd quarter, deep in their own end. So they'll likely play it a little conservative here with the run game.
And now they don't get much yardage here on 1st and 10.
Looked like that was a broken play right from the start. Not sure if Kyle Ross had some problems with the center quarterback exchange. But when he turned around, it looked like he wanted to hand that ball off, and the running back had already cleared out. Nobody there, so he was forced to tuck it and run for what he could, which ended up being a loss of about a half a yard. So the 3-minute warning now in the 2nd quarter.
And overall, the Chatham-Kent Cougars kind of hanging in there against a very top-rated Burlington Stampeder football club.
They're going to go from the shotgun here.
On 2nd down, and that just goes through the hands of the intended receiver for the Chatham-Kent Cougars. Looked like Lee Purnell, the tight end, was who that was intended for, and it just goes right past him. So 3rd down coming up here.
Well, a tough offensive series there for his first offensive series for quarterback Kyle Ross. As we mentioned, he's the 2nd stringer. He was the 3rd stringer, but again, Zach Welton no longer able to play for the Cougars because of some job conflicts. So he gets moved up the depth chart to number 2 after Ryan Brook got this start today. So that was, again, Kyle Ross's first offensive possession, and they're 2-0.
So it remains 11-7 here. Burlington with the lead, and the kick is up, way up in the air, just past midfield, and caught and stepping out of bounds, Josh Vanderweerd. Close to midfield, about the 53-yard line of Burlington, as they will take over. And again, they will look to expand their lead on Chatham-Kent. 4-point lead at this point.
A nice job there by Clark Green, getting that kick all the way over to the sideline, getting some nice distance on it as well. So not allowing any kind of return. You don't want to give the Stampeders any better field position than you have to. And they take that one out of bounds just short of midfield, as you mentioned, Mike. But with 2:46 to go, the Cougars' defense here is going to be key. You don't want to allow any points for this dangerous Stampeders team, and keep this one close heading to halftime.
1st and 10, and now a handoff to the running back. He finds a seam, heading off to his left, and now a tackle around the 50-yard line. For the Chatham-Kent Cougars, that could have been a lot longer run, but a nice tackle there for the Cougars.
Yeah, nice tackle there. That was Josh Wright making the tackle, number 28. Some good pressure up the middle there, too. Jordan Deneau, big number 99, but the running back just able to slip through his hands. But as you mentioned, a good tackle there by Josh Wright to keep that only about a 6-yard gain and bring up a 2nd and 4 for the Stampeders.
Clock ticking away, under 2.5 to go in this opening half of football here, right at the 50-yard line of Chatham-Kent. Back to pass once again. Quarterback trying to find somebody open. He does. And that one caught by Wes Livermore, but he does not get very much yardage at all as William Finch just tried to find somebody open. He found Wes Livermore, and a good job by the Cougars defense bringing up 3rd down.
That was a great job by the defense. The defense obviously recognizing something in that offensive formation because you could hear the change in the call on the field. The Cougars recognizing Curtis Dubuque comes on the blitz on the far side, the defensive back, and that was just a little toss to the running back looking to set up a screen on that far side. The Cougars sniff it out. A good job by Smith over on that far side as well, making the tackle.
And Burlington punting it away. It comes down around the 25-yard line. Cougars on the return and evading a couple of tackles, finally being brought down. And the Cougars will take over. Josh Wright looked to be the receiver there.
It was Josh Wright there, and it looked like Josh Wright might have something going, but it looked like it was a nice saving tackle there from Alex Dragilovov, and I'm sure I mispronounced that name. Dragilov, perhaps. Alex Dragilov, it looked like, number 22 for Burlington, but a nice tackle there because it did look like Josh Wright had some open field over on that far side, but Dragilov able to hold on to that jersey and pull him down and not allow him to get any extra yardage around that far end.
Cougars with the football, and now a handoff to the running back, heading off to the right-hand side at a few yards. Will bring up 2nd down and about 7 yards.
Now, it's still Kyle Ross out there at quarterback. It's also a possibility that Ryan Brook isn't shaken up. Perhaps they just wanted to change things up a little bit and give Kyle Ross a couple of series, see what he could do as well. So this is his 2nd offensive series here at the quarterback position for the Cougars.
2nd and 6. And again, keeping the football and down is Kyle Ross, as he had 2 Stampeders almost right away, right in his face. And he gets brought down for a sack and a loss of very valuable yardage here late in this first half.
Austin Cornell looked like got the sack. The Stampeders not fooled at all. The Cougars faking the handoff and hoping that the Stampeders bite on it because obviously the Cougars have been heavy on the run game, but they're not fooled at all, staying with their assignment and sniffing that out. Cougars going to be forced to punt this one away again.
Under 90 seconds to go in this first half. 11-7, the Stampeders lead the Cougars. And back to punt it away. Getting away a clean punt. High in the air. It comes down around the 43-yard line of Burlington. And finally picked up by number 14, Vanderweerd. He's still on it. Getting closer to midfield and finally being brought down by a couple of Cougars around the 48-yard line. And the Stampeders will still have a little bit of time to work with here in this first half.
Dubuque, another nice tackle there. We've called his name quite a few times today. Number 12, Cougarsl Dubuque. Solid tackler. He's made a couple of big tackles so far today. And another one there because it looked like Vanderweerd had some real estate ahead of him if Dubuque wasn't able to get a hold of him.
So 1:04 remaining on the clock here this second quarter. And once again, the offense led by William Finch. The big quarterback for the Stampeders as they are out and ready to go. Finch with the snap. He gets it. Now gets away from one tackle. Finds a receiver open along the near side here, along the right, but in and out of the hands of Tanner McGarry, as he maybe took his eye off the football just at that last second. He was still pretty wide open.
Yeah, McGarry coming across the field on a bit of a drag route. William Finch avoiding the pressure. as we mentioned, he's able to do that. He's such a weapon back there. He's got a good arm that we've seen today so far. There's a pretty good wind out here. It hasn't really affected his balls at all. Good velocity on the ball. And he's able to avoid a tackler or two in that backfield and get the ball into his receiver's hands. And he's certainly tough against this Cougars defense.
2nd and 10. Once again, Finch back to pass up the middle, and another almost intercepted by the Cougars. About the 3rd one this afternoon, in and out of the hands. David Miller this time around almost had it.
The defensive coaching staff is going to watch this game tape, and they're not going to believe how many balls they should have picked off in this game so far. In the first half alone, we've had 3 balls go directly through the hands of the defenders of the Cougars. Easy interceptions, but not able to hold on to it. But again, a good situation here, 3rd and long, and they're still going to get the ball back regardless.
Another punt here for the Stampeders, and just getting it on the way there, and almost blocked. Picked up by the Cougars and going sideways. Number 28, Josh Wright, doesn't get a lot of north-south movement there. And he is brought down to the football around the 27-yard line, 28-yard line maybe, in Cougar territory.
Stephen Gauntlet with the tackle there, number 25 for the Stampeders, showing his speed as well, able to keep pace with Josh Wright. Now, it was interesting. It looked like there was a bit of contact with the kicker for the Stampeders, the referee right there, but didn't throw the flag. It was clear that the kicker, as they're coached to do, they do embellish the contact after there is any. And it didn't look like there was much, and the referee didn't bite on the flop after the contact, and no flag called. It looked like it was a good no call from the referee.
43 seconds to go in the first half. And now handing the football off and maybe getting a yard if they're lucky. The Cougars. It looks like Verrill had the task there.
Yeah, Verrill with the carry. It's been tough sledding in there in that interior of the defensive line of that Burlington Stampeders squad. Again, the Cougars doing a really nice job of running the ball in the first quarter. It's been a different story here in the second quarter. That defense has really played much better here in the second quarter for the Stampeders.
Under 30 seconds to go in the second quarter. 2nd down and 8. They did get 2 yards on that last play. Back to pass. Pardon me, that was a fake pass.
It was a run and a fumble, and they're going to say Burlington's got the football.
So Kyle Ross with that fake pass and a run, and Cougars unable to hang on to the football. So again, a big turnover, and just things not running nearly as smoothly in the second quarter as you alluded to, Mike.
And when these two teams faced each other 2 weeks ago, when I spoke with Coach Sel Jordan after they had lost that game up in Burlington, 34-0, he had said, turnovers were a factor. They had a couple turnovers on special teams, a couple turnovers on offense, and so far here in this first half, we've seen turnovers play a factor as well. We've had a block punt, and there we have a fumble recovered by Burlington.
And a new quarterback for the Stampeders, an incomplete pass, and Julian John now takes over under center as William Finch overall had a pretty good first half. But you know what? With those 3 near INTs, you kind of have to look at William Finch too and say, you know what? You were pretty lucky there. You could have had 3 against you.
Yeah, maybe the coaching staff sending a message to William Finch. He's got to be a little more careful with the football and where he throws it. But he's certainly a dynamic player. I'm actually a little bit surprised that Julian John's out there right now, but nonetheless, again, maybe a teaching moment here from the Stampeders coaching staff and putting number 3 Julian John in at quarterback. But William Finch is certainly a threat, and he is tough to defend. If you're a defender out there, you can see a lot of the Cougars defenders with their hands on their hips sucking wind. They've been chasing William Finch around so far this first half.
2nd down, 15 seconds to go in the second quarter. 2nd and 10 here for the Stampeders. Kind of a low snap. Julian John again. He's got a whole bunch of green and white jerseys right in his face and brought down by number 77, Jake Langstaff. He brings down the QB for Burlington. at around the 47-yard line. So a big defensive play there by the Cougars, and we're down to 8.5 seconds to go.
Yeah, good job there by Langstaff, as you mentioned, chasing him down from behind. Julian John maybe not quite as quick as William Finch, able to finally catch him in the backfield. They've been chasing William Finch all first half. Finally, they were able to chase down Julian John. And the wind right now, swirling around, as we've mentioned so far in this first half, tough to tell if it would be... according to the flags on the top of the posts where the Stampeders would be kicking to, it looks like they would have the wind at their back. Now maybe we've got a timeout call on the field.
The wind seems to have been changing directions at least a couple of times through this football game.
Yeah,
as you mentioned, Mike, kind of a swirling motion a lot of the times too.
Yeah, it really has. For the most part, it's been blowing from the right now. If you want to talk about the where the two teams are placed, it's been blowing into the face of the Stampeders offense where they are right now, that side of the field. We'll see what they do here on third down. I mean, this would be extremely long. I'm sure they're going to look to punt this one away. Maybe we'll see some trickery here, though, too, either on the side of the Stampeders or the side. Oh, well, I'm going to stop right there because Julian John's back out at quarterback.
So 3rd and 18, just 8.5 seconds to go in this first half. They're going to see what they can get out of this play here. Another very low snap, but John digs it out of the turf, scrambles off to his left, trying to find somebody deep. And still on his feet, still with possession of the football. He still has it and is inbounds. He gets as far as the 34-yard line. And the first half does come to an end. So still an interesting last play of the first half there by John and the offense of the Burlington Stampeders.
Well, good job there by the Stampeders coaching staff, running out the clock because they don't want to kick that ball into the hands of either Graham Smith or Josh Wright and give up any kind of a big play heading to half. So they take the ball and kill the clock and keep that 11-7 lead heading to halftime.
So the first half done here. Beautiful Sunday afternoon at the Chatham-Kent Community Athletic Complex. Mike Renier, Mike James in the broadcast booth, and a pretty entertaining football game through the first half. It's 11-7. The Burlington Stampeders lead the Chatham-Kent Cougars. As we're underway in the second half, the Chatham-Kent Cougars and the Burlington Stampeders, and the Stamps will have the football to start off the second half, and a kickoff is brought up to the 25-yard line, and that is where the Stampeders will start the second half as they lead 11-7 over the Chatham-Kent Cougars, who are looking to go over 500 if they can pull out a win.
That's a nice job on special teams to start here the second half. Josh Vanderweerd with the return for Burlington, and we've seen he is a threat certainly today, but Graham Smith coming up with a big tackle and a nice job here. Good starting field position for this Cougars defense with the Stampeders, as you mentioned, Mike, starting at their 25-yard line.
And once again, it will be William Finch back at quarterback, and now he hands it off to the running back along the far side. Finally taken out of bounds, and Aaron Veltri once again gets a touch.
Veltri's got some speed, looking to get around the corner on that far side. The Cougars defense doing a nice job stringing that one out, making the tackle a short gain on first down. So the Cougars defense starting out nicely here with that first play in the second half.
Only a gain of 2 on that run. 2nd down and 8. Shotgun formation, and now that's a very low snap. Quarterback had to dig that one out of the turf. Now he goes up the middle and well over top of the head of the intended receiver, but an incomplete pass from William Finch, and Vanderweerd again was looking to be the receiver to grab that one.
Yeah, and a nice job there by Jeremiah Hamilton getting up there at the same time as the receiver, meeting that ball at its highest point, goes incomplete. Looks like the pass was a little bit off target there as well by William Finch. As we mentioned, Finch back in at quarterback, as Mike just mentioned. We did see Julian John at the end of that second quarter at quarterback for Burlington.
Another low snap. The Stampeders punting it away. That was a low kick. Now a bouncing football at around midfield, and the Cougars picking it up, and it will be into Stampeder territory as they have their first possession of the second half. Cougars trailing 11-7. 11 uninterrupted points for Burlington.
It was Graham Smith with the short return, but nice field position here for the Cougars to start this second half. The 45-yard line. Now that wind is starting to pick up. We can feel it up here in the booth. It is, again, a swirling wind down on the field. And again, interesting, Kyle Ross is your quarterback to start this second half. So it looks like right now that we could see Kyle Ross the rest of this game.
Brian Brook, your starting quarterback early on in this football game. Ross taking over. He likes to hand it off, and a run up the middle. Looks to be about a gain of 2. And the Cougars will have about a 2nd and 8 situation coming up.
Looked like it was Chris Verrill on the carry there. Trying just over that right side. Not a lot of room. As you mentioned, a short gain. So 2nd and long. We'll see if the Cougars elect to put this ball in the air. We didn't see a lot of that in the first half. Mostly a ground attack for the Cougars.
2nd down, and they say they only got about 1 yard on that last play, so 2nd and 9. And another run play coming up here, and that one, number 34, Blaine Bayshard, he is not able to pick up much at all either. Maybe another yard, and that's about it. 3rd down coming up.
That was a good job by Bayshard just to gain any kind of yardage or even get back to the line of scrimmage. He was met in the backfield on that toss play over to the right side, the near side for us. And Bayshard ran through a couple of tackles to get to where he is now, where the ball rests right now. So the Cougars keep the ball on the ground. That's been the attack so far, mostly for the Cougars, and it continues here early in this second half.
It's under 3 minutes gone to this third quarter. 3rd and 9 for the Cougars, and a snap. The punter gets it away, punting it to the about 15-yard line. Now it scampers even farther back. Picked up by the Stampeders off of that punt by Clark Green.
So that's a nice job there from the Cougars. Pin Burlington deep here. Their second offensive possession. Now the defense can kind of pin their ears back and look to get some pressure on that quarterback, William Finch. Looks like we got an injured player for the Cougars down. That looks to be David Miller, the linebacker, taking a knee. Now earlier in this game, Josh Schuin went out. Looked like he had an injured shoulder or arm, and we haven't seen him since. That was back in the first quarter.
Now Miller getting attended to by the training staff. Trying to get a read on what part of the body would be injured. He's down on his right knee. Adrian Day taking a look at him, asking him some questions. Hopefully he's not too banged up.
Certainly, because that linebacking core taking a bit of a hit of late. Last weekend, Larry Vandenberg, number 9, the linebacker for the Cougars, was tossed out of the game, and then that suspension carried over to this week. So they're missing some players. As we mentioned, Schuim went out earlier in this game, and looks like looks like David Miller walking off under his own power might be able to return. Doesn't look like it's too serious, not by the way he's walking anyway, but we'll see if we see him back in the game.
Maybe it's an upper body thing. We'll have to see. Hopefully he's not out for too much. And now flags flying all over the place.
If it were the playoffs, that's all we'd hear. Upper body, lower body.
That's about it. That's as specific as you're going to get.
Yeah. Bad penalty going against Burlington.
Very deep into Stampeder territory.
An illegal procedure call against the Stampeders, so that makes it 1st and 15 now. Deep in their own zone. Burlington at about their own 4-yard line. A great opportunity here for the Cougars if they can come up with a stop, have some great field position. Nice way to start this second half.
And William Finch gets the snap now into his own end zone. He tries to find an open receiver, and he does around the 20-yard line. bringing that one down once again. Bennett McGarry just shy of the 20-yard line, and so that's a huge offensive play there for the Stamps.
That's a beautiful pass and catch there from William Finch to McGarry, who, as we've mentioned, has made some nice catches in this game. That time, just a bit of a timing route. McGarry comes out of his break toward the sideline, and that ball gets there in a hurry. William Finch has a good arm, and that's enough for a first down. So, again, that was a 1st and 15, and they get themselves some much-needed space away from their own goal line.
1st and 10, Finch gets the snap once again, and now a short pass off to the right-hand side. That is complete once again, and some room to run for the receiver, Livermore. Wes Livermore gets some good positive yardage. Being brought down. Sorry, Michael.
Sorry about that, Mike. A nice little swing pass there to the running back coming out of the backfield. An easy passing catch, and one of the rare misses that we've seen from Curtis Dubutte. Just missing the tackle there, and the running back... not very much gain, though. Good pursuit from the rest of the defense. Dubutte able to slow that running back down enough to allow his friends to get there to make the tackle in 2nd and 10.
Back to pass once again, and it's off, and it's intercepted. The first interception of the game as the Cougars will get the football. Graham Smith. And the Cougars take over the football, and finally, after 3 near misses with the INTs in the first half, we have our first interception for the Cougars.
And a nice job there by Graham Smith. It looked like he was baiting the quarterback, making it look like he was off, deceiving the quarterback into thinking that, yeah, you've got an open receiver, and then just broke on the ball, made a nice play, made the catch this time. As you mentioned, the Cougars defenders dropping at least 3 easy picks in the first half. That time, Graham Smith holding on to it. And now a good chance to put some points on the board for the Cougars offense.
Well, this could be a game changer here. Finally, an interception. And as you mentioned, my great field position here for Chatham-Kent. And now on 1st and 10, ball gets run up the middle. Not a whole lot of yardage there.
Not a lot of space there. Hard to tell who that was with the carry. I believe it was Blaine Bayshard getting the carry up the middle. Cougars offense trying to use his size, push the pile forward, a gain of about 2.5, so it's going to bring up 2nd and long.
Gain of 2 on that play, 2nd down and 8 to go here for the Cougars, looking to get more points on the board. They trail by 4. Once again, it's back to the running back, who will throw to the end zone himself, and a touchdown for the Cougars. Blaine Bayshard let that one go as Kyle Ross pitched it off to Bayshard. He fired it towards the end zone. And a touchdown for the Cougars, and I think Josh Woodman brought that one down in the house.
He certainly did. Some trickery again from the Cougars. Figuring, you know what, let's mix it up a little bit on offense. We need to put some points in the board. We've got some good field position and a great pass and catch there. Bayshard, the throw actually a little bit short, but that worked out to the advantage of the Cougars receiver, Josh Woodman. He puts the brakes on. The defender runs right by. It's an easy pass and catch and a touchdown. The Cougars take the lead.
13-11, and the kick for the extra point. They get it 14-11 here at 9:38 to go in this 3rd quarter, and that's a very good momentum shifter here for the Cougars as they let the last 11 points on the board against them after an early 7-0 lead. So this is going to be big.
And that's what you like to see from your team. You get a big play from Graham Smith with the interception, and then you take advantage of it by scoring a touchdown. You put that 7 points on the board. So nice job by the offense. The defense comes through, makes a big play. The offense turns it into points, and then you get some, as you mentioned, the momentum shift, and you get some confidence back on your side. Now the defense can go out with a little momentum on their side, obviously, and also the defense, you give them a breather on that turnover. As we mentioned at the end of that second half, defense looked like they were sucking wind a bit from chasing William Finch around the field, the quarterback for the Stampeders. So it's going to give some confidence to the entire team for the Cougars here in the second half, leading the best team in Ontario.
So certainly a confidence booster here in this second half. Chatham-Kent back on top as they kick the football away. Kind of a short kick as it comes down to the 35-yard line. And now the ball is jarred loose. Who comes up with the football? I think it's still rattling around down there.
And we've got a flag on the play, too. We'll have to see. That was a huge hit there on special teams, knocking that ball free. Of course, that short kick, the ball hanging up in the air, it looked like it was a placed kick as well from Clark Green. They found an open spot in that return team. He put it there, gave his coverage team a chance to get there, and a big hit just as the receiver was looking to grab onto the ball, and they're saying it is Cougars football.
The Cougars on another huge turnover off of the kickoff. And everything's going the Cougar way here in the first 5.5 minutes of this second half.
You got to like the way the Cougars have come out here in this third quarter. They put a touchdown on the board early on, and now first obviously led by a turnover, and then they get another turnover here on the kickoff right after the score. A huge hit there. Hard to tell who it was, and then they come out of the pile with the football. So another chance here to put more points on the board early on here in the third quarter.
Kyle Ross again will shovel it off to Mitch Raitt. He's got it along the far side and not getting too much past the original line of scrimmage. But still, as it is, very good field position to start off here for the Cougars.
Yeah, Mitchell Raitt trying to use his speed to get around that outside corner on the far side. A good job from the Stampeders defense, not allowing him to turn the corner, keeping that to a somewhat minimal gain, about 3 yards, they'll say. 2nd and 7 here, and again, there is still a bit of a breeze out there if we happen to see the ball get put up in the air.
Back to pass, and it is intercepted by the Burlington Stampeders. So both teams with big INTs in this third quarter. And Kyle Ross putting it right into the arms of the Stamps. So that'll take care of that. 8:53 to go in this third quarter, and that opportunity for the Cougars gone in a flash.
Well, that's what good teams do. They counter a good play from the other team. They make their own. The defense coming up big there for Burlington. So now, again, a chance for the Cougars to come up big, but unfortunately a missed opportunity there for Chatham-Kent.
Back in offense, Stampeders taking over, and a running play here for the Stamps. Some good yardage here off to the near side. That is Aaron Veltri once again. He's had a pretty good afternoon here at the Chatham-Kent Community Athletic Complex.
Yeah, he's got some good speed, good play there from Josh Woodman to come up, make the tackle. Of course, Woodman playing both offense and defense, playing defensive back and wide receiver.
1st and 10, ball at the 43-yard line. Still in Burlington territory. Under 8 to go in this quarter. And another running play up the middle, still finding a good seam, and first down yardage once again. Veltri seems to be ripping up this Cougars defense here all afternoon.
Boy, they're making some big holes right up the middle of that Cougars defensive line. Now they're making a substitution. The Cougars are. Leaving the field is Josh Pryor and Brian Armstrong coming in. I think to shore up the middle of that line, Armstrong, an offensive lineman, bring some good size to the middle of that defense.
And another running play that can keep trying what's working here for them. Burlington's Veltri up to the 48-yard line of the Cougars. So, hey, why change what's working?
Well, a better job that time from the middle of that Cougars defense, plugging up the middle. So he tries to run up the middle. There's nothing there. Has to bounce it outside. As you mentioned, still a nice gain, but that time no gaping holes up the middle. And at least slowing him down slightly, forcing him to bounce it outside in a gain of about 6-7 yards.
2nd and 4, 47-yard line is where the football is in Cougar territory. And now it looks to be a passing play once again. Scrambling to his right and finding an open receiver who's still got some room to move. He's still on his feet now, finally brought down along that far side in the vicinity of the 30-yard line. So good job there. William Finch scrambling out of a little bit of trouble. He finds somebody open along that far side, and a big first down for the visitors.
I think we have a flag down on the field here, and I think this one's coming back. This one's way back here. It looks like it's in the area of a holding call. And now we've got another flag. I wouldn't be surprised. We've got some jawing from one of the Burlington players. And we've got another flag. Wow, this one's getting out of hand here early in the third.
The field is turning a bright orange very quickly. 3 flags being thrown in very quick order. And we'll see when this is all said and done how far back this football's coming.
Well, that was a big offensive play for the Stampeders with the pass and catch for big yards. So really, this one looks to hurt the Stampeders the most because they've marched it back. I would imagine one of them is at least a objectionable conduct after the whistle. We're about to get the call here.
Four separate calls there.
We had holding and a couple of objectionable conduct calls. So ultimately, they calculate all the yardage, and it works out to a 2nd and 19, it looks to be.
So hopefully a big stop here for the defense for the Cougars. And now another running play up the middle, still on his feet, and the Cougars able to bring him down about 5 yards short of the first down, but still a good 13, 14-yard run. The running back of the Burlington Stampeders. Still a 3rd down and 5 coming up here.
It looks like Burlington's bringing out the punt team. Now that wind that we've been talking about right now at the back of the Stampeders. So I'd expect this to be a deep kick. If they do kick it, we could, this wouldn't be a bad spot for a fake for Burlington either.
We've already seen a fair bit of trickery on both sides here this afternoon. And back to punt it, and it will be a straight punt up in the air. Cougars get the football back, and being brought down fairly quickly was Josh Wright after he cleanly fields that one around the 25-yard line in his own territory.
So good coverage there. Actually not a real deep kick there from Burlington, but good coverage, making the tackle almost immediately after the catch. So the Cougars are going to start fairly deep in their own end.
Entertaining start of the second half here. 5:47 left on the clock in this third quarter.
Of course, that last offensive possession for the Cougars coming to an end with the interception thrown by Kyle Ross, but Ross back out there again at quarterback.
1st and 10 for the Cougars. Another running play up the middle. And the pile gets shoved back a couple 3 yards. So 2nd down coming up here for Chatham-Kent. As they look to keep this momentum going here, they touchdown has vaulted the Cougars back in the lead after an 11-7 deficit at halftime. Cougars up by 3.
Good push over there on that left side. Looked like it was Chris Verrill with the carry, gaining about 5.5 yards on 1st down. So a manageable 2nd down here for the Cougars. I'm sure they'd love to, every possession, obviously, hold on to the ball and keep the clock going. But right here, specifically with the wind in their face, I'm sure they'd love a 1st down.
Now, again, a little bit of razzle-dazzle here by the Cougars off on that far side. It doesn't work out, however, and brought down Josh Woodman as he tried to find some kind of opening along that far left side. But the Burlington defense a little bit too much to overcome there. So another 3rd down coming up here deep in the Cougar territory.
That's a big tackle by number 47, Ben Millar, the defensive back on that far side for Burlington. He fights off the block from the wide receiver and then forces Woodman to try and swing it out wide, then comes up, sheds the block, and makes the tackle. Beautiful job by the DB. That's what you like to see. That's textbook. And forces the Cougars. Looked like Woodman was going to have some room over there, but again, Millar comes up with the tackle and forcing the Cougars here for a punt, again, into a fairly strong wind.
And the kick is away to midfield, right at midfield. It's taken by the visitors from Burlington. McGarry pretty much flattened right there at midfield. So McGarry doesn't get too far, but still very good position by Burlington. The Stampeders will take over.
Good coverage there from the Cougars special teams. Looked like it was Lee Purnell, one of the first ones in for Chatham to make the tackle. So as you mentioned, the field position battle there at the end of the second quarter really went to Burlington, but they couldn't parlay it into a lot of points. So that was a big credit to the Cougars defense. Right now, the Stampeders starting to take over that field position battle here in the third quarter.
Mike Renier, Mike James here at the Chatham-Kent Community Athletic Complex. And now another running play for the Stampeders. Not getting too far with the football. Once again, Aaron Veltri. Only a couple of yard gain. Good job there by the defense for Chatham-Kent to snuff that one out.
Josh Wright coming up to make the tackle. That's a nice job right there because we've seen Veltri. He is dangerous. He's got speed. They've run him up the middle, so he's got enough size to play with the big boys as well, but tries to bounce it outside that time. Josh Wright comes up, makes a nice tackle from his safety position.
Only getting a couple of feet on that particular play. Now back to see what he can do is William Finch. He tries to find somebody open along the far side, and he does. Breaking that one down, Doug Corby, before he gets out of bounds. And the Cougars somehow will just have to find a way to get two big defensive plays consecutively because they had a good stop there on first down. But William Finch and receiver Doug Corby hooking up to move the chains.
Yeah, Finch and Corby, a nice job there. Finch, it looks like the Stampeders moving him out of the pocket because the Cougars have been getting some pressure up the middle, using his athleticism, getting out of the pocket.
And on first down and 10, big running play there by the Stampeders, and again another big run as the football just keeps going down to our left.
That was again Veltri with the carry.
And they move the chains.
He's a dangerous runner. The Cougars are certainly learning that here today. I'm sure they saw a heavy dose of it when they were up in Burlington as well a couple weeks ago.
2.5 to play in this third quarter. 14-11, Cougars with the lead. And another running play here, and guess who it is? Veltri, who has single-handedly provided the offense, it seems, here in this second half. He had a few carries in that first half, but really making an impact in this third quarter. And that end zone is getting closer and closer for Burlington.
Veltri just getting the ball from the quarterback and getting a step or two and just deciding if he wants to go left or right. Looks like he wants to run it up the middle. Nothing there. Bounces it to the outside. He's at top gear after about 2 steps and showing that speed and elusiveness. Able to get outside, run away from the linebackers, and forcing the DBs, the secondary, to make a lot of tackles.
1st and 10, shotgun position. Formation, I should say, and Finch once again handing it off. Scampering towards the end zone, and a touchdown for Burlington. Stampeders regain the lead, and that run has been very successful in this third quarter, and finally points on the board to support that thought for the Stamps.
Boy, they just kept attacking that right side of the Cougars defense, run after run after run until they put it in the end zone. Veltri and that offensive line just doing a great job over that right side, making it look easy at the end there to get in for the score, picking up huge chunks of yardage, 10, 12 yards at a time, and Veltri, obviously, he is a weapon for this Burlington team.
17-14, looking to make it 18 here with this point after attempt. And a 4-point lead here for the Burlington Stampeders. And a back-and-forth third quarter. Minute 38 to go in this quarter. A much faster-moving quarter of football than the second half, or in the second quarter, I should say. And the Cougars will get the football back, looking to somehow answer. But that running display there by the Stampeders, and more specifically Aaron Veltri, really shining through in that last possession.
Well, the Cougars here, they've got a chance to maybe get some explosiveness in their game here on this return. Obviously, the Cougars are dangerous, but the Stampeders not going to allow that.
And now kind of bouncing out of bounds. Curtis LeBute wasn't able to bring that one down cleanly. Bouncing out of bounds at around the 35-yard line in Cougar territory. So the offense will take over once again, looking to hopefully find some more pay dirt in the end zone to our right.
Oh, that's Burlington right there on that kick, just respecting the return game of the Cougars and Cody St. Pierre and Josh Wright, not wanting to give them an opportunity to break one open and give the Cougars some momentum on offense. So Chatham-Kent instead will take the decent field position with the ball at the, as you mentioned, Mike, about the 32, 33-yard line.
Clock ticking, under a minute and a half to go in the quarter. And once again, quarterback hands it off along the near side. No room whatsoever, no daylight for Mitch Ray to do anything with, as he had the handoff from Kyle Ross. The defense for Burlington able to figure that out right away.
Yeah, tough sledding up in there. Not a lot of room at all. As soon as Mitch Ray gets to that line of scrimmage, there's just not a lot of room there for him at all to squeeze any yards out of that run, and it brings up a tough position, second down and long. And again, that win right into the face of the offense of the Cougars. So if that ball gets put up in the air on a pass, it's likely going to hang in the air for a bit.
And another attempt at the run, and pretty much the same result. They try to run it off to the left that time, but again, stopped by Burlington. So another third down is coming up, a very short possession with the football there for Chatham-Kent.
That decision to not throw the ball there and run, it could be a combination of things. Obviously, you don't want to turn the ball over, have the ball intercepted. Not only that, but you've got the wind in your face, but there's only 33 seconds left here in the third quarter, so it's not going to be long now before the Cougars are going to flip sides and they'll have the wind at their back should it not change directions, and maybe we'll see the Cougars air the ball out a little bit more in that type of a situation.
And once again, back to punt it away, just getting it off. Once again, Clark Green, and it comes down around the 40-yard line, back to the 36, 37, and a flag emerges from the ref's pocket right at the 37-yard line.
Well, it looks like that's going to be, that one came in late. I think that one's going to go against Burlington and David Schuda, who was locked up with Eric Frappier. Frappier looking to get down there on coverage after the whistle blew. Frappier thrown down to the ground, and I think the referee's going to say that one came after the whistle. So you can tack another 15 yards on, and that's going to help the Cougars out for sure in field position.
So that'll bring the ball back to around the 22, 23-yard line. 22 looks like that's where it is.
There it is, unnecessary roughness, the call.
So it pushes the Stamps back. Hopefully that will translate to some success here with the Cougars with a big stop. But once again, a big running play, and lifted right off of his feet was the running back for Burlington. And once again, Veltri able to get some serious yardage on that one.
Good form tackle there from Josh Wright. Gets down into a good tackling position, good low base. Gets the running back down low, and you drive your feet, wrap your hands around, and drive him backwards. And then obviously his defensive partners come in to help clean that up. But a good tackle there from Josh Wright, and nice job by the Cougars defense.
This will be the last play of the third quarter. 2 yards to go, 2nd and 2. And another running play. Guess who? It's Veltri. He gets the first down and a whole lot more close to midfield. He gets as far as the 53-yard line, 52-yard line thereabouts. Still in Burlington territory, but pardon me, that's the 48-yard line. Sometimes my math is not 100%. 48-yard line is where it is now, still in Burlington territory, as that brings an end to the third quarter.
Boy, that Veltri, he is certainly a weapon. You could see his explosiveness right there. He gets to the outside, he plants that outside foot, and it takes him literally just one step, and it looks like he's at full speed, and he's just generating so much power. making it look really easy as the good running backs do. And Veltri is really proven to be a star of this game for the Burlington Stampeders so far heading to the fourth quarter.
Fourth quarter action now underway. 18-14. Burlington leading Chatham-Kent. Cougars looking for a big defensive stop here, but they have to find a solution for Veltri, the running back for Burlington. Now a pass play, it is complete. A big hit, though, by the Cougars at around the 51-yard line. So a completion, but again, a good job there by the defense.
Yeah, good job by Cougarsl Butte. Gets there right as the ball gets there pretty much the same time. A good job by the receiver, actually, to hold on to that one, Josh Vanderweerd, and tackled as soon as he makes the catch, but a positive gain of about 6 yards on that one for the Stampeders. But a good job by both the receiver and the defender. LeBute trying to separate the ball there from the receiver. Just couldn't do it, but good job on both sides.
Second down at 5.
I think we've got a timeout here from Burlington. And we do.
Just 53 seconds into this fourth quarter. The Chatham-Kent Cougars trailing the Burlington Stampeders 18-14. And for some reason, the Cougars just unable to figure out the running game here for Burlington, and more specifically Aaron Veltri, who's just running all over the place.
He's been awesome, really, so far today, especially in that third quarter, just basically running the ball at will. So if the Cougars are going to want to have success here in this fourth quarter, no doubt Veltri is going to be a key. But, of course, Burlington, they know that the Cougars are going to be keying in on Veltri, so wouldn't be surprised. A couple of fake handoffs and maybe a couple easy passes and catches from that Stampeders offense.
So after the timeout, sorry, Michael, second and 5 is where we are. And once again, scrambling off to his left. The quarterback still can't find anybody to throw to, and now he does into pretty heavy coverage. And William Finch with an incomplete pass, which will bring up 3rd and 5.
That's a nice job there from the linebacker, Brendan Thompson, just getting between the quarterback and the receiver. He actually wasn't even looking back at the quarterback. He was running to get back into coverage. He saw the receiver there, so he just ran to the receiver. Great job by Thompson. Gets right in front of the receiver. The ball hits him right in the back, falls incomplete, and forces the punt here from Burlington.
Two Cougars back to receive the punt. Kick is up. This is a long punt. Very good punt by Burlington. Now comes down into the arms of Graham Smith. Graham Smith gets just a little past the 20-yard line, and that's where the Cougars will take over.
Graham Smith maybe a little bit shaken up on that tackle. Looked like he was driven pretty hard to the ground. Not sure if his head might have hit the turf at the end of that tackle. There were two defenders in on that tackle, so Graham Smith's still down right now.
Right, flat on his back. Training staff out to take a look at him. And hopefully Smith will be all right here, but he's certainly keeping still.
As we mentioned, he took a pretty good shot there on that return. One man had him, and then it looked like another Stampeder came in to clean up the hit, which you're coached to do, certainly. Just when they were going to the ground, it looked like he was driven down to the ground and may have hit his head on the momentum down to the ground on the field. So it looks like he's getting up now. He's just sitting up.
You might not fully know where he is.
Just taking his helmet off, getting some air. A couple members of the coaching staff out there to speak with him as well, just make sure he's okay. Certainly an important part of this team. And it's good to see him up. A nice round of applause here from the crowd. But he is such a weapon. He's a return man. He's scored on punt and kickoff returns as well as defensive back. He's got an interception already today. So you hope that you're not going to miss him for any extended period of time.
Very important part of this football club, that is for sure. So good to see Smith under his own power, strolling back to the Cougar bench. 1st and 10. Cougars back on offense, and right off the hop, here's a long pass along the near side, and that one intended for Josh Woodman, and that one just a couple of yards over his head.
And we've got another change at quarterback now. It's Jeremiah Hamilton in at quarterback, looking for Woodman down that left side, and we've mentioned that wind. It's really picking up now. You can feel it gusting, and it is at the back of the Cougars offense now. So that one a little bit long. I'm sure the wind was a factor in that one being just over the head of Josh Woodman.
2nd and 10. Cougars taking a chance there in 1st down, hoping for that long gain. Just didn't work out. Now a running play for the Cougars. Slightly off to the right-hand side, getting close to the 30-yard line. Still a couple yards short of the 1st down.
Mitchell Wright with the carry there over that right side, and that's a nice gain on 2nd down, but again, it's 3rd down and short, so the Cougars going to be forced to punt here.
Punting unit comes out on the field. And it will be the Cougar defense hoping to get a quick stop, as we're now into quarter number 4. Cougars down by 4, 18-14 in this back and forth football game.
They faked the fake.
Football is up, retrieved around the 45-yard line, and now still on his feet for Burlington and passing the 50-yard line. That was number 23, Doug Corby, for Burlington.
That's a nice return for Burlington there on special teams. Get them in some good field position here to put some more points on the board, try and extend their lead. But if you notice there on that play, the Cougars already in this game faked a punt and got a 1st down out of it. That time, the Stampeders realizing this might be a situation where they fake a punt again. The Cougars faked faking a punt. They faked the direct snap to the running back for Chatham-Kent, Blaine Bayshard, and they did kick it away.
Wind remains fairly brisk here this afternoon, picking up a little bit in this 2nd half. The 47-yard line is where the ball is.
It really is picking up. And it certainly could be a factor here late in this game if should this one come down to a field goal attempt.
You can see the Canadian flag off to our left in the distance there, really flapping away this afternoon. On 1st and 10, another running play up the middle, this time not getting too very far with it. Is Veltri.
And Jordan Deneau just swallowing up Veltri right in the middle of that line. A nice job. Deneau, the defensive tackle there. Just drags Veltri down to the ground for a short gain. So a good job there on 1st down. Something the Cougars have had trouble with when Veltri gets the ball in his hands is keeping him to a short yardage gain.
2 yards on that last play, 2nd and 8. Now a passing play off to the near side, almost intercepted. Very good job there by Tristan Robinette, as he was poised to get that interception just over top of his hands, but also over top of the receiver's hands. So incomplete, 3rd and 8 coming up.
Yeah, right through the hands of Tristan Robinette. Great coverage there. He read the play. I'd say he baited the quarterback again, playing off a little bit, knowing that ball's got to come a long way across the field. So William Finch, he bites on it, makes the pass, and Tristan Robinette, if he's able to pull that win in, he might go the distance.
So a good stop there by the defense of the Cougars. And another punt here for Burlington. Pardon me, as the Stampeders punted away. And only bringing it a few yards back the other way, Tristan Robinette on the return. So Robinette is factoring in the last couple of plays.
Looks like it's going to be Jeremiah Hamilton coming out at quarterback again for the Cougars. We saw that last series. He is the third quarterback so far today for Chatham-Kent. Chatham-Kent starting off the day with Ryan Brook. It looked like he got banged up a little bit on a play. Kyle Ross then came into the game, and now this is the second straight series for Jeremiah Hamilton.
So they'll start at about their own 18-yard line. Cougars back on offense. 11 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Quick pass along the far side. It is a completion to Cody St. Pierre, but quite quickly after the reception, a flag is thrown.
I think we're going to see a block in the back here from the receiver over on that side. After the completed pass, the receiver trying to make a block on the defensive back and get some extra yardage for his wide receiver teammate, but I think it's going to be a block in the back here. And that's exactly what it is. It's going against Chatham-Kent.
So that'll push the football back even further here. Under 11 to go in this fourth quarter. 18-14 the score. Burlington leading Chatham-Kent.
Tough position here for the Cougars, deep in their own zone, but again, trailing 4 points. You want to see them get some offense, get their offense rolling a little bit. They've been out of sync here for the last little while.
First and almost 20 here. Back to pass is Hamilton, and he's got a completed pass past the 25-yard line. Nice solid throw by Hamilton. And an equally nice catch against St. Pierre up to the task.
Yeah, Cody St. Pierre, a nice grab. And as you mentioned, Jeremiah Hamilton showing some zip on that throw, just rifling that into St. Pierre, and a nice catch, and giving the Cougars a chance to convert a second down after that first and long.
So 2nd and 4 is where we are at now. 10 minutes to go in this fourth quarter. So an equally important play coming up here. A handoff to the running back, trying to get that 4 yards. He does, and now a swarm of red jerseys finally bringing him down to the 35-yard line. And a first down coming up here for Chatham-Kent on a very successful run on second down.
That's very nice. 10-yard gain there. A nice hole over that left side. Just burst through it with some good momentum, then pushed the pile. And the Cougars now looks like they're a little reinvigorated with their new quarterback, Jeremiah Hamilton, at the helm. Certainly, I know it's got to give you some confidence when you see a nice pass completion. Now, he's also a threat to run. He's extremely athletic, so that's something that maybe Burlington not aware of.
1st and 10, Hamilton back to pass once again. Couldn't find anybody open, and now it's too late. He's brought down past the 30-yard line as Burlington gets the sack.
Wow, a lot of pressure right up the middle there from Burlington. As I mentioned, Jeremiah Hamilton is certainly an athletic player, but right there, no matter how athletic you are, you're surrounded. Couldn't get out of that one. A nice sack there from Burlington, and forcing the Cougars back for a loss of about 7 yards.
2nd down and 17 here for Chatham-Kent. Behind their own 30-yard line. So a tall task here.
It looked like Burlington, they were threatening to blitz there, and maybe the Cougars might have jumped on offense, seeing all the men on the line of scrimmage. I think the Cougars might have left early, and yep, that is going against the Cougars.
Absolutely right. So tack on some more yardage here. Second and 22.
It's tough for the offensive linemen. You see all those defenders up on the line of scrimmage, just standing up waiting to rush as soon as that ball moves, and the offensive lineman obviously trying to make the adjustment, who's going to block who, and all it takes is one little movement, and the whistle's going to go, the flags come out.
Second and very long, 22 yards to go for first down. Hamilton again elects just to hand it off, but still a very good run off to the right past the 35-yard line. And taking quite a shot was the running back for the Cougars, still down.
Just when he was on his way to the ground, he took a shot just as he was on his way down. Caught him, I think, off balance. It was hard to tell who that was coming through the hole there. For a second, it looked like it might have been Blaine Bayshard.
Couldn't see the number right off the hop here. But again, the Cougar training staff, a couple of coaches tending to the injured Cougar. Still 8 yards short of the first down on third down. He took quite a shot heading towards the ground.
Yeah, just when he was on his way down again, took that shot. He was off balance. Almost looked like he had slipped a little bit, like he got tripped up, and as he was on his way down, he took a shot. And just taking a look through the binoculars here, it looks like it is Blaine Bayshard, the running back, talking to the coaching staff. And he's sitting up now, so that's a good sign.
Probably got the wind knocked out of him at least. And now finally up on his own 2 feet with some help.
Yeah, Bayshard certainly shaken up, and we've seen some big hits here today between these two teams, and Bayshard on the receiving end there. But again, at 6 feet, 235, you figure he must have taken a pretty big hit to keep him down.
So third down and 8 to go here for the Cougars as they look to punt this one away. Time slowly ticking down here in this fourth quarter. We're just over 7.5 to go. Punts up in the air and received around the 45-yard line of Burlington, and this will get closer to midfield, just shy of that midfield marker. Burlington takes over at midfield with a 4-point lead.
Looked like it was a bit of a shank from Clark Green there. He had the wind at his back, but just didn't get all of it. So decent field position for the Stampeders. And the defense now really the pressure shifting over to the Cougars defense to make a play here. With 7:31 to go, trailing by 4 points. They want to get this ball into the hands of their offense in some good field position.
Back again on the run, Adrian Veltri, and Veltri only gets maybe a yard right up to midfield exactly. So that's a good job to finally just kind of snuff Veltri out of a long run like he's been doing the last quarter and a half.
Looked like that was Josh Wright coming up from his safety position. Nice job finding the seam where Veltri wanted to run through and making a solid tackle, keeping him to a short gain. This is a second defensive possession here for the Cougars where they've come through on first down and held Veltri to minimal yardage.
2nd and 8. Very close to an offside play there, and a pass completed close to the 45-yard line. And that looks like it's enough for the first down. We'll have to get that verified.
Come on, number 8.
We got a measurement coming out here. It looked like he was going to have enough for a first down. Didn't look like it was going to be too close, but the referees want to make sure.
Looked to be very, very close to first down yardage. Hard to tell, though, from this angle. So out they go with the chains.
And as you mentioned, Mike, and you could hear some of the fans likely through the microphone, it looked like maybe the Stampeders were a step offside there, but there was no call on that play.
Very, very close in real time.
And they're going to say they're just short. It looks like maybe an inch or two short, so you would think that the Stampeders will probably go for this.
They want to run down the clock as best they can now. 6:35 to go in this fourth quarter, 18-14. Burlington with the lead.
And a chance to really put some points on the board. I'm sure they'd love to get a field goal at least out of this possession.
Get it up to a 7-point lead.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. Get it up to a touchdown and an extra point lead.
3rd and 1. Flags up in the air.
Oh, this might go against the Stampeders, unless the Cougars move first. But one of the Cougars signaling that it's is going to go against Burlington, and I think that's what it is. They're going to say it's against Burlington, so that's going to bring up a 3rd down now, and you add that penalty on. They're going to punt this one away.
3rd and 6 with the offside penalty against the Stamps. And a big stop there, helping are the penalties. But the Cougars will get the football back here with time running out.
Remember, the wind into the face now of Burlington for this kick.
Very high snap, and now scrambling to find some room as a punter. Doesn't get a lot of air under this one.
And that was a shank.
Now it's whistled down. Ball came down around the 40-yard line. The 39-yard line is where they've marked it. 3rd and 11. Pardon me, for 1st and 10. As they have refreshed the scoreboard. 1st and 10, the Cougars taking over.
And the chains are in the wrong spot right now. They got to wait for the chains to get set. There we go.
1st and 10. Hamilton still at quarterback. He elects to hand it off, and again a run up the middle. A gain of looks to be 3 yards. As they elect to go with the run once again here. Under 6 minutes to go.
And we saw Mitchell Rake, we saw Blaine Bayshard go out the last series, so we expect to see more Mitchell Rake and Chris Verrill. But as you mentioned, Jeremiah Hamilton still in at quarterback with 5:36 to go and counting here in the fourth quarter. You got to think the Cougars going to put this ball in the air a little more here with time winding down.
Only 1 yard on that last play. 2nd and 9. Very important play here. Here's Hamilton. Rolls to his right. Looking for somebody open, and he finds a receiver. Off to that far side. Mike, he might be about a yard short.
Yeah, that's close. Looked like it was either Cody St. Pierre or Lee Purnell over there with the catch. And that is going to be short. They're going to say that's about 2 yards short of a 1st down. And
do you go for it here?
Yeah, that's. I think the Cougars. That's what they're deciding to do. Hamilton's still out there, so I like what they did there. Though they get Jeremiah Hamilton out of the pocket, let him use his athleticism. If the pass isn't open, let him run it.
3rd and 2. Once again, a run up the middle. Looks like he's got enough for the 1st down here, and I don't think there's much doubt on this one.
Nice push from that offensive line, and we've got a flag. We got a flag down on the field. Wow, where they marked that one, actually, that is close.
Looks like they marked it a little further back than what I thought.
And we got to get this flag sorted out as well, see what the flag is. And it's against Chatham.
I don't let them do it. I just take my
So if it's against the Cougars, the flag, I guess, is, or the measurement is moot.
Although
very close. Very close.
Well, is that a... No.
They didn't get it.
Wow.
Cougars did not get it.
By an inch or two, so yeah, they turned the ball over on downs. And
measurement not moot.
Now we've got a flag late, and this one's going to be objectionable conduct, whether it's against Chatham-Kent or Burlington. I wouldn't be surprised it's against the Cougars, though. Probably not happy with the spot that they got.
So a turnover on downs. Burlington gets it back.
Yeah, now they're going to march off 15 yards against Chatham-Kent. That late penalty.
An amazing field position here for the Stamps.
As much as you want to say something to the referees, if you're not happy with them, you got to keep your mouth shut because it's going to cost your team, and that's just what it did right there.
In a 4-point game with 4.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
You've got to be smarter than that in that kind of a situation. That's something that Sal Green has mentioned to us. He said, you know, when we were up in Burlington a couple of weeks ago, we talked to the referees too much and we paid for it, and right there it happens again.
Once again, here's Veltri on the handoff. 3 Cougars bringing him down along the left side. And clock continues to wind down. Biggest enemy for the Cougars.
Yeah, it really is at this point. Nice job by the defense, though, on that far side. Looked like Eric Frappier helping to string that one out, and Graham Smith over there as well, and Josh Woodman all coming up to make the tackle. So Veltri, again, a nice job on first down. That's 3 offensive possessions in a row now that I can think of where Burlington's handed the ball off to Veltri, and he's only gained about 2 yards.
Another running play. Here's Veltri heading towards the end zone. Still,
boy, just
still on his feet. He was tough to bring down there.
Unbelievable. Just as I say that, of course, it makes me eat my words. Wow, what a run. Veltri just able to use his blockers, so good at running and seeing where his blocks are set up and running off his blocks, getting to that third level, big yardage. He's just got such good balance running through the holes and setting up his blockers. He is just a dangerous runner.
First and goal from the 8. Another handoff to who else but Veltri. And elects to run it up the gut. He doesn't get too much with that. With 3 minutes to go exactly here in this fourth quarter.
Boy, would holding Burlington here be huge for this Cougars defense to keep this hopefully a 7-point game if they can. Trailing by 4 right now with 3 minutes to go.
You mentioned it, Michael. If you can come away with 3 points or less going to Burlington and somehow find a way to string some offense together to go into the end zone the other way. But certainly time not a friend to Chatham-Kent.
No, low snap there.
Low snap once again. Veltri with the carry, and he gets into the end zone for a touchdown. And that makes the task a lot tougher now for the Cougars. 6 more points on the board for Burlington. They've now opened up a 10-point lead. Could be 11 here in a few seconds.
Boy, a nice push there from Burlington on that left side, and Veltri just powers through. You know, he is not necessarily big, as we've mentioned. They've got him listed at 5'9", 165, but he runs so much bigger than that. Just powers his way, keeps his legs moving, keeps those legs churning, and drives the pile back and gets into the end zone.
24-14, 2:43 to go in this fourth quarter. And for one more point, 11-point lead now for the Stampeders. And now you pretty much just have to pray for a return touchdown off the kick.
Yeah, that penalty against the Cougars so big now, the objectionable conduct after the Cougars came up short on 3rd down. And then somebody said something to the referee, and that added yardage, and that just made it a nice short field for Burlington, and they converted. Cougars now going to have to dig deep to try and respond here. Trailing 25-14, not a lot of time on the clock, 2:43, Mike, as you said, and tough position here for this Cougars special teams, and then go on offense. As you mentioned, they're going to need a big return, but Burlington probably not going to oblige. I wouldn't expect this to be a deep kick at all. I think they'd just kind of pooch it and look to make a good coverage tackle and then force the Cougars go the length of the field.
So looking to get a very good return here. And now the kick is up. Short kick. Comes down around the 40-yard line. Cougars trying to get a good return here, and they got a lot of room to work with. Here comes Curtis LeBute. And finally brought down around the 35-yard line. So Curtis LeBute with a beaut of a return. That's exactly what the Cougars needed. So now they have to keep this going.
Yeah, and you're right. And they did what we thought they would do. Burlington with the short kick, hoping to get some nice coverage on special teams and make the tackle. But LeBute foiling their plans. A great job by Curtis LeBute. He's had a real nice game so far today. That time adding to it with a beautiful return. Almost for a moment there, looked like he was going to go to the house if he had just stayed down this left side. Might have had enough speed to pull away, but nonetheless, a great return and beautiful field position for the Cougars to try and score here. 35 now. They're on the 35-yard line of Burlington. And now the trainer and the coaching staff out to take a look at one of the Cougars out on the field on a knee, now getting up and walking over to the sidelines. That's Brandon Van Zeltz making his way off the field, offensive lineman.
Heading slowly off to the sidelines under his own power. 1st and 10, great field position here for the Cougars. They need a score, and they need it pretty quickly, and now a pass does not quite reach the intended receiver. Dan Fox was waiting, but it was quite a bit underthrown.
Yeah, Jeremiah just short hopping that one to Dan Fox. Obviously, Jeremiah wanting to put a lot on that throw, having to go across the field, but unfortunately, he just threw it into the ground.
2nd and 10, 2:31 to go in this 4th quarter. Now some movement at the line of scrimmage.
I think that might have been the Cougars that moved early on that call. Looked like, or it sounded like Jeremiah giving a hard count there to try to get maybe Burlington to jump, but I think his own offense jumped. And that's what they're saying. They're marking that off.
That
procedure.
Yep, you're right.
Again, sometimes the quarterbacks, they'll change up their inflection of their voice to try and draw the defense offside, but that time drawing his own offense early and costing them 5 yards.
Ball backs up to the 40-yard line, 2nd and 15. Hamilton drops back to pass. He's got a lot of pressure and now trying to scramble out of the way, but 2 Stampeders brings him down all the way back to midfield. That's a 15-yard sack. And that is going to be 3rd and 30.
Wow. That's huge right there. Obviously, I mean, that takes you out of field goal position. Should you have tried for a field goal there? You had the wind at your back. You have a kicker with a strong leg, but now you're going to be forced to punt this one away and try and play field position.
Clock ticks down, 2:18 to go. Good kick, high up in the air, and now it's off the fingertips. And now scrambling, shallow into his own end zone. He gets out of there, but Doug Corby wasn't able to field that one cleanly. cost some real estate.
Well, now this will be interesting. That's exactly what the Cougars were hoping for there. Great coverage. The return man bobbles it, and then the Cougar special teams get down there. They cover that a great job. So now Burlington deep in their own end. Should the Cougars stop them on defense, you'd think they'd probably give up the single and then give the ball back to the Cougars. But a nice opportunity here. The Cougars, you got to figure it's going to be a heavy dose of Veltri here late in this fourth quarter.
Well, Veltri certainly worked for them in this second half. He has just exploded right since halftime. And now, as predicted, it is a handoff, but right there on the defense of the Cougars, 2 Cougars bringing down the running back.
Well, you almost wonder if it's maybe even close to a safety.
That was very close. Originally, the ball was on the 6-yard line.
They're going to bring that back to, just looking at the marker, boy, about the 1-yard line, maybe even the half-yard line.
That was dangerously close. And the defense must be thinking safety now. They must be.
Yeah, they'll be
swarming here.
Yeah, they'll be pinning their ears back right here. Oh, it looked like there was movement on Burlington. The flags came in before the ball was snapped. It looked like Burlington moved, but we'll wait for the call from the referees. Oh, they marched it off against Chatham.
So back to the 6-yard line, 2nd and 10 for Burlington. Another handoff. Up the middle, Veltri. He's got a lot of room to move. Veltri scampers all the way to the 35-yard line. And a 30-yard run for Veltri as he's capping off a great half of football.
Wow. He has just been awesome the second half. He's definitely game ball. I mean, if the coaches give out a game ball after this game, it's Veltri all the way. He has just owned the second half for Burlington. Just continue to keep this offense moving. Really, the only thing William Finch has had to do is step back and hand the ball to number 34 and let him do all the work.
1:20 and counting left to go in this fourth quarter, and again, some early movement on the line. We've seen a lot of this here in this fourth quarter.
Looked like the Cougars might have been offside there. Looks like they may have gone early, unless there was some movement on the Burlington squad. And they'll count this one off against Chatham again.
First and 10 for Burlington. Another handoff, no surprise here, and again getting an amazing run. Here's Veltri. He's still on his feet past the 30-yard line, and now a couple of flags come flying out at around the 40. 35 is where Veltri's finally taken down.
Yeah, Cougarsl Butte catching up to him finally, but looking to take him down with the back of the jersey and going for the horse collar. So obviously the flags come out, and you just can't do that. The reason they have that horse collar call is because just too many injuries if you get pulled down by the back of your jersey like that, from that just the top inside of the jersey, right where the opening is, right at your back of your neck. They'll call that a horse collar every time you try to pull that down. Too many players are getting pulled down from behind and suffering too many knee and leg injuries. So that's why that was eventually turned into a flag, and that's what you see there. It's really just to protect the players.
Ball is now on the 11-yard line. 66 seconds remaining in this football game. An 11-point lead for the Stampeders, 25-14.
Burlington showing why they are one of the top teams, if not the top team in Ontario. People have said it. We heard it coming into this game. Burlington, the top team in Ontario, and they're showing why. They've really got a lot of weapons. Veltri obviously shown that today to be their key weapon this afternoon.
And again with another touch. Veltri up the middle. Getting some positive yards again. 1:03 to go in this fourth quarter.
Well, you have to say the Cougars, a pretty good effort here today. The end of the first half, it was a tight one. And early in the third, they jumped out to the lead. But Burlington, you got to give them credit. Coming on the road after shutting out this Cougar squad 2 weeks ago, the Cougars putting up a good effort, but Burlington just imposing their will here late.
Pretty much the Veltri show here for the rest of this game. And that was close to the end zone. Just shy, I believe.
Looks like he's got to be down to about the, as you mentioned, close to that first down. Right about the maybe 3-2 yard line.
He's in very deep. 2nd and 7 on that run.
Oh, they're going to bring out the sticks for the measurement here. Well, as we'd mentioned, the Burlington team only last weekend gave up their first points on defense. 19 points scored on them on defense. Their 3 previous games, they had outscored their opponent 123-0. So for the second week in a row, the defense of the Stampeders giving up points. Last week they gave up 19 to Kitchener-Waterloo. This week they give up 14 so far to the Cougars with 42.5 seconds to go in this game. But certainly something to build on for Chatham-Kent, because when they were up in Burlington 2 weeks ago, they fell 34-0, and that was actually the score at half. So they had a good second half in that game, and this one's been close all the way until late in the fourth here.
This is at the 2 yard line. Again, another run up the middle, and it looks like they might have got the first down yardage. It was 3rd and 1 from the 2 yard line. Not into the end zone.
I think they're going to bring in the sticks again to measure this.
But as you mentioned, Michael, this is a good test here. Good barometer to see where the Cougars are against just a very good squad here from Burlington and the Stampeders. And certainly for 3 quarters, I think the Cougars really did a good job.
Yeah, they certainly did. It was a really entertaining game all the way through. And as you mentioned, though, the Veltri show just took right over. Number 34 for Burlington just completely owned the second half of this game. He's been dynamic, just an unbelievable runner. And it'll be fun to watch him at the next level if he goes on to university football and maybe even beyond. But he's been outstanding so far today.
And a quarterback sneak here. Did he get in?
Yeah, they're going to say that's a quarterback. Yeah, William Finch in for the touchdown.
6 more points. William Finch, that big body, 6'3", 218. You noticed that right when he walked onto the field at the start of this football game. That's an imposing player at his age for sure.
Yeah, he's a big guy at quarterback, no doubt, and he is talented. He's athletic. He can run the ball. He can move around in the pocket. He did a great job moving around in the pocket today, avoiding would-be tacklers. They had the extra point there, and 32-14. Really, the score, I wouldn't say completely indicative of what this game was. For 3 quarters, it was real close. Just in the late going here, Burlington taking over, but yeah, they've got a big quarterback, talented quarterback in William Finch. Although you could go back and you could say, as we mentioned, there were about 3 or 4 passes that he threw that were right through the hands of Cougars defenders that could have been picked off. So a good effort from the defense for the Cougars today, but just not enough all around. Burlington showing why they are widely considered the best team in Ontario.
You do kind of wonder if even 2 or 3 of those Burlington passes were intercepted, what kind of dynamic that would have had on this football game and how it would have changed things. Because through 3 quarters, this is still a very close football game. Could have gone either way. In the 4th quarter, just a little different story.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you do wonder that. You wonder, had they held on to a couple of those passes that went through the hands of defenders, maybe you have one, you return it for a touchdown. You never know. Well, it's something that the Cougars will have to think about, and hopefully they can build on throughout the season. You know, they had opportunities. It's something you got to take advantage of them when they're there. They started out the 3rd quarter phenomenally with the interception, and they got in for a touchdown on a trick play, the pitch to Bayshard, who threw it to the end zone to Woodman. But then after that, they threw an interception on offense, the Cougars did, after that kick on the turnover. And from there on, it just seemed like Burlington just started to take over the momentum, and it was really due to that running back, Veltri, who took over this game, and the Cougars just couldn't find an answer for him in the second half.
4.2 seconds to go in this 4th quarter. A Burlington huge 4th quarter, propelling them to victory here this afternoon at the Chatham-Kent Community Athletic Complex. And a little bit of confusion there. That pass from Kyle Ross, too far for the receiver, down to 1.8 seconds left to go. And the Cougars on the road for a couple of weeks after today before they return back here in mid-July.
Well, they'll have to get that quarterback position sorted out, of course, as we've been mentioning throughout the afternoon. Zach Welton, we understand, no longer with the team because of a job commitment that's come up. So now you've got Ryan Brook, who started today's game. It looked like he got shaken up on a sack fumble. And then we saw Kyle Ross the rest of the way until Jeremiah Hamilton came in the late going. So the Cougars going to have to get that quarterback position sorted out and go forward from there. But a tough loss here at home, their first loss at home, but again, something to build on for the Cougars. They put 14 points on the board against one of the top teams, if not the top team in the league, and they can build forward from here.
So now a final as 32-14, the final score here. The Cougars losing to the Burlington Stampeders, who continue to have just a very impressive 2011 season in the Ontario Football Conference. So again, decent barometer here for the Cougars. They kind of fell apart in the 4th quarter, and hopefully moving forward for the rest of the season, they can still get some positives out of this game, and they'll still have to work on some things as they head on the road for a couple of games.
Yeah, certainly. Just like any other team, you look at your positives and you say, okay, good. We're good here. Let's build on some of these other positions. Stopping the run is going to be a big thing. Obviously, you don't know how often you're going to come up against a running back, the quality of Veltri, but he really was huge today for Burlington. So Cougars, I'm sure, would like to be a little better against the run if they could. And but overall, a good effort from Chatham-Kent. They put 14 points on the board, which was good. They hadn't scored against Burlington earlier this year, so some positives certainly to build on, and they'll just continue to move forward. I think the coaching staff will take those positives and continue to work on the things that need to be worked on. And we certainly got an entertaining team here to watch in Chatham-Kent. Good quality football, and really I think the fans appreciate that. You can tell from the crowd that's here today. They know they've got a good, fun squad to watch, and I'd love to see them battle. And they did continue to battle throughout the day. It's just big number 34 for Burlington took this one over, and the Cougars just couldn't find an answer.
Well, we do know there's one more game to go here in the regular season in this complex, at the Chatham-Kent Community Athletic Complex. We will have the coverage for you on TV Cogeco, but the Cougars falling 32-14 at the hands of the Burlington Stampeders. So on behalf of Mike James, Jeff Brooks on the camera, my name is Mike Renier. Thank you for watching Chatham-Kent Cougars football with TV Cogeco.